What's good? What's good? What's good, fam? Thank you guys for tuning in to week 283 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, fans. Fans, we took a little break off, but we're going to get the show started just like this.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford right here.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy? I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment.
I'm staying there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works
for the promoter. Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with him?
To me, it's easy to score all over the board.
On your team, is Paul number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your team's team.
30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish right now? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me?
What do you
Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Like I was saying before.
Well, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
You were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy.
Ken, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
Real surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, give me. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sports. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do. Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Snoop. Shout out. What's good, Snoop? What's good, Snoop? Shout out to the homie Snoop. Hey, you heard my man. Never so even though that was a couple seasons ago, it's never ever so evident when my man from the NFL Red Channel, NFL Network Red Channel.
Chris Hansen.
Prince Hansen, what did he say? You heard what he said?
Scott Hansen.
What did he say? What did Scott Hansen tell you?
This is a make or break season for Tua.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna get to it, fans. We're gonna get to it. We got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot of NFL to get into. We're gonna get it. Cleveland, I don't want to answer now, but the fans already know. Did Cleveland watch the Anthony Joshua versus Vitaly Klitschko fight over the weekend? Did he watch the fight? I bet he didn't. Don't answer now. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it later. We got a lot to talk about. Did Cleveland do his homework? We're going to talk about the NBA. What a week in the NFL has been. NFL free agent frenzy. Tua, the pressure's on you, big dog. The pressure is on you, Tua. They let a lot of people go. Most importantly, Christian Wilkins, because they couldn't pay him and pay the quarterback. The pressure is on. The pressure is on. Is he worth $50 million a year. What's he's in line to get? Cleveland said Cleveland would have paid him last season. Is he worth 50 million? He's not worth 35 million, in my opinion. But the pressure is on. It's on. Barry, the pressure is on, Barry. The pressure is on Tua Tagovailoa from this day until Super Bowl. Where's the Super Bowl at? I don't even know. I want to say Arizona. I don't even know what the Super Bowl is. But Tua, if you're not in the Super Bowl, Tua, Cleveland, if he's not in the Super Bowl, I might just release him. Just like the Chargers did my dog or your guy, Mike Williams, he might be released. We might just start from scratch. If he don't get my team to the Super Bowl. Not paying that kid all that money. What's up, Boots?
What's up, Boots?
Boots, the pressure is on. And I got the chopping block go. I got the hatchet. I got the hatchet going on tonight, Boots, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourself a round of applause. Let's give Cleveland a round of applause for being here tonight. Thank you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. We got the Sacramento Kings on one screen here tonight. We got Sacramento Kings and Domantas Sabonis going for the 10 straight victories over your guy, Anthony Davis. 10 straight. Anthony Davis, since he's been in a Laker uniform, hasn't beaten Sabonis. We're going to see if they can continue that streak tonight. Fans, each and every week, we thank you guys for tuning in. Those of you guys who attend the show or participate in the show each and every week know how we get the week started. We get the show started by playing our numbers game, Cleveland. And with it being March 13, 2024, week 283, we look at the number 13, Cleveland. And when you think of the number 13, who come to your mind first, or who are their jersey number the best?
You know, Cam, you may find this somewhat blasphemous, but because it is baseball season, the person that comes to mind first is the reigning National League MVP, Ronald Acuna Jr. comes to mind first. Now, who worked the best is, my guy. Not your guy, but my guy, Golden Marino.
I thought you were going to say Wilt Chamberlain. I figured you pull something off just so you couldn't give Marino all the credit. I thought you were going to say Wilt Chamberlain. I figured you might even say Steve Nash.
No.
But I got a question for you. Just in regards to the number 13, Cleveland, would you take Steve Nash or James Harden? Who do you want leading your team? What? What did you just say? The question, let me rephrase the question just in case maybe you didn't hear it correctly.
Sure.
Would you take Steve Nash or James Harden running your franchise?
Steve Nash.
Moving right along, fans. We just lost some fans.
So on the lazy journalism side, go do your studying, go do your research. Did James Harden win back-to-back MVPs or did Steve Nash? I'm not sure.
Now you want to say those are legit MVPs that he won? Today in 2024.
I don't cast a vote for that. That's not the question I asked you. The question I asked is which one of those players won back-to-back MVPs?
Steve Nash did win back-to-back MVPs.
Okay, thanks.
But there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of debate and concern as whether he deserved those back-to-back MVPs.
Okay, but he did get them, right?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Cleveland, when you moving right along, when you think of the number 83, Cleveland, who wore that jersey number the best, or who come to your mind first? And don't say Steve Rabel.
You know, Cam, 83 is kind of a hard one, and the only one I can really kind of come up with is the speedster from Tennessee that went to the Bears, Willie Gault, way back in the day. You know,
so you never heard of Mark Clayton? You never heard of that guy?
Well, I mean, he didn't wear it as well as Willie Gault, in my opinion.
Oh goodness gracious! This guy. You guys see how we starting to show off? You guys see how we starting to show off? So, have you heard of Andre Reed? I would have settled for Andre Reed, Mr. Four-time AFC champion, four-time Super Bowl appearance. I would have settled for that guy.
That's a good one.
This
That's a good one.
You see what kind of night it's going to be, fans. You see what kind of night it's already going to be with this dude over here. I mean, come on, guys. Fans, so we're going to jump into the NBA topics right now. First and foremost, man, we got to get right into it, Cleveland. Match up with the Clippers and the Timberwolves. The Clippers on their way to attain the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and then my man Kawhi. Honestly, it looked like he had to take a dump over there in between the quarters, first and second quarter. It looked like he needed to go to the bathroom. I mean, he couldn't even bend over. We kind of walking gingerly, and T. Lou just tapped on and said, "Man, go, get out of here, man. Go rest yourself. Go get the rub down from the the Korean over there on any one of the blocks in Southern California. You can get you a good massage. So go get you a massage, man. Just take the night off." And so he left the building, had everybody up in arms, and the Clippers at that time, I think it had a 17-point lead, ended up losing by 17 points. The injury is they've announced it as back spasms. It's nothing that's supposed to have us too worried in Clipperland. But did that game say more, even though the Clippers were without Kawhi Leonard kind of unexpectedly? Did that game say more about the Clippers or more about the Timberwolves to be down by 22 and then come back and win the game by 17? Who did that game say more about?
Oh, it says more about the Timberwolves, my dude. I mean, it's always going to be a question mark until they actually do it. Kind of how much heart and intensity and passion they have for, trying to win a championship, trying to beat your opponent every game. And so far, it's kind of so, they kind of pick their, they pick their moments, they pick their points. But, the fact that the Clippers couldn't, maintain a 17-point lead, that's kind of disappointing and concerning. I mean, if you're a Clipper fan.
They were kind of surprisingly, unexpectedly without their leader, Kawhi Leonard, their quiet leader. The guy who kind of, I won't say the motor, but the guy who kind of gets them going on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So that was a little concerning. I'm with you in that. Paul George obviously had big numbers in the first half and not so much big numbers in the second half. So that's kind of concerning. And not being able to hold the lead. Yes, you expect them to hold the lead, but when you're forced to play Amir Coffey, although I like Amir Coffey and Brandon Boston, excuse me, he's getting big minutes in the second half. Yeah, you're kind of up against it when Naz Reid is hitting 3-pointers and you got Rudy Gobert doing his thing. And then, Ant Edwards had 37 in the game. So he's stepping up and showing why he's going to make all NBA this season. Speaking of Rudy Gobert, Cleveland, they fined Rudy Gobert $100 million. Cleveland, did you see that? Oh, it was
100,000. Yeah, it was a bunch of money. I was kind of perplexed. Apparently, they are trying to send a message to any and everyone in the league. You just can't be saying that kind of stuff about the refs, and you're just going to be the example that we use. So
yeah, and I mean, if you remember, they fined what's my guy's name who said
that person don't.
That was the wrong one. The Toronto Raptors coach.
It's a complete crap.
He said it's a complete crap. He got 25 grand. They fined Rudy 4 times that amount. Like the money signal. A couple things about that money signal that he did is so maybe it was a 50 grand fine and then they fined him double for being stupid. Rudy, you guys have the darling of the NBA on your team, Rudy. You guys have Anthony Edwards, who is the guy that everybody has their eyes, they're looking towards, they want him to do well. He's a darling in NBA right now. How is the NBA The NBA wants him to succeed. Wants your team to succeed, Rudy. That was dumb of you to. That was a stupid tax. I think he had to pay on that one. So not only was it dumb for him to kind of say the refs were paid off. I mean, Rudy, you're on a team that they want to do well. So, Rudy, what are you talking about?
But Cam, you also have to realize that they're also coming off of the Tim Donaghy scandal. So any type of reference to like, maybe cats are getting paid off is a black guy on the NBA.
There's a couple different things involved when you bring up Tim Donaghy. None of these players playing today recognize who were familiar with that situation.
But they're still dealing with the idea, at least from some fans, that sometimes referees have ulterior motives and make calls.
Rudy Gobert, that was not in Rudy Gobert head when he makes a signal, sign flashes the money sign in the air, like your boy Jimmy Manziel. Rudy isn't thinking Tim Donaghy. Rudy coming out and says it in the post game. The NBA is now allowing betting, like they're in bed with betting, and that's what he was saying, that they're involved with betting. This is what happens.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that they were involved with betting in a legal way. Back in the day, Tim Donaghy was involved with it on the low. And in addition, he had an opportunity to influence the game, point spread wise.
Cleveland, just for a reminder for our fans who just tuned into the show, who is Tim Donaghy and why does he have a name?
Tim Donaghy is an NBA referee that back in the day got involved in a scandal where
what teams played what was the teams playing that his scandal was around?
It was all the way around. He was an NBA referee and he had influence with regards to how fouls are being called and understood what the point spread was per game, and had instructions from the higher ups to make sure that scores were within a certain threshold, and then benefited monetarily from making those things happen.
So you're saying there was no specific series that he might have influenced or had heavy influence?
No, it was all the way across the board. I mean, Tim was one of those made guys from way back in the day from the neighborhood. I don't know how much you know about the Tim Donaghy story, but yeah, it's not just some guy. It's just like, okay, I'll take $5,000 to do this. No, man, no, way deep into it.
And there was no specific series that he had that he had issue with.
I mean, there probably may have been. Maybe there was more money on it, but no, he was complicit from the beginning.
Okay,
this is from the top guys. He was always one of the prodigies around the way, and now you're in this position, and hey, man, let's chit chat. And he was all about it.
Okay, Booth, you see he don't want to speak. He don't want to call out any teams that might have benefited from Tim Donaghy and his situation. I find that pretty interesting, Barry. That he's not identifying any specific teams that might have, and I wonder why that might be, fans. Why he don't want to identify any teams?
Because there is no specific team. It was his agenda, his criteria. I mean, he was giving orders from the top.
Okay.
One particular series. I even know what you're alluding to, Cam.
Yeah, sure. You don't know what it is. I mean, I know Chris Webber might feel a little differently. I know Vlade Divac might feel a little differently. I know Michael Bibby might have a bone to pick with you about this right now. But that's a conversation for another day. Thank you for enlightening the fans on this. Cleveland, what do you make of Sabonis? Speaking of the Kings and the Lakers, what do you think of Sabonis being 9-0 against the Kings? What do you think? Or excuse me, the Kings being 9-0 against the Lakers. Sabonis being 9-0 more specifically over AD. What do you think about this situation?
Man, that is super fantastic. Bulletin board material, and a confidence booster. How was that translated in the playoffs with regards to advancement towards the finals for the Sacramento.
We're not talking about the playoffs. We're not talking about advancement. We're talking about the record, the head-to-head record right now.
They had never been to the NBA finals, not one time.
That's not what we're talking about, Cleveland. Just, I like how you try to change the subject and try to.
So what was your question? Perhaps I didn't understand your question.
Clearly you didn't. Sabonis is 9-0.
9-0.
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Against your boy Anthony
What
Davis.
does that mean?
How do you feel? What do you mean? What does that mean? In the last 9 times they played, Sabonis has won each of the 9 games. What do you? You don't need. You know what 9-0 means. Don't try to.
Okay. Does Anthony Davis have a championship during that same period of time?
Again,
because Sabonis doesn't have
because they play because they're saying they're in the same conference, so they play 4 times a year. So all this is really saying that the last
2 years,
the last 2
years. Great job.
You see, fan. You see how he tried to deflect, fan. You see, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened over there. What's the weather like in Renton today? Maybe that explains it. Is it the drizzle? Do you have the drizzle going on?
No, it's been playing really nice. It's about 52. Sunny.
I mean, I don't know what the weather like. I mean, did they call you into the office? Because I know you like to work from home. Did they call you in the office this week? I mean, what's going on?
I mean, you're talking. I mean, you start out a question with Sabonis has won 9 straight games against the Lakers. What does that mean to you?
What does 9-0 mean? I mean, come on, that's an easy question.
It's during the regular season.
Oh boy,
it hasn't happened in the postseason. And last that I checked, the Sacramento Kings had an impressive regular season last year and lost in the first round. They have an impressive record so far this year.
Deflecting the conversation. Deflecting from the conversation. This is not about what the Kings done in the playoffs. This is not what.
Okay, let me say it a little bit differently. It doesn't mean anything. It's impressive in the
and that's what I asked you.
In the record book, great. Wow, 9 in a row. That's incredible.
Oh my,
means nothing.
Deflection tactics. But you said you're the former president that doesn't deflect as well as you're doing right now.
I'm not deflecting anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Steph Curry clear for on-court workouts. They're 1-2 without him. He may play this Saturday against your Los Angeles Lakers. Do you expect him to play with this run to the playoffs that they're
I'm not a doctor, Cam, so I don't know if I expect him to play. If he plays, they have a better chance of winning than if he doesn't play. That's all I know.
His ankle injuries, are you a little more, should they be a little bit more cautious with Steph Curry and his ankles, considering that's kind of slowed down his career? If you remember, he came into the league with ankle problems, and the first few seasons was all about trying to get him healthy, get his little weak ankles healthy for a rigorous season. Would you be a little bit more concerned and kind of have him on the bench, have him sit a little bit longer, considering his ankle issues?
Not so much at this point. If it was earlier in his career, it would be a major concern, but he's definitely shown us that he's gotten past that. And, 4 championships later, I'm okay with, whatever, treatment and regimen that they've been having him on. It's been successful. It's been working for him to this point.
Fair enough. Luka's 30-point triple-double ends. He had 6 games with 30 points, 30-point triple-double. He still has 7 straight triple-doubles, though. Cleveland, there's two guys who had a longer streak of triple-doubles. Who might that be, Cleveland?
I would have to, off the top of my head, say Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook.
Well, you're 50% correct. Russell Westbrook is one. Who's the other guy?
Triple doubles. Let's see.
You quickly throw this name out. Every time there's a basketball stat, you typically throw this name out first.
Oh, Will Chamberlain?
Yeah, again, come on, playing against those insurance salesmen and there's carpenters. He was killing the stat book. Know that. Yes, Russell, Will Chamberlain and Russell Westbrook. Cleveland, as of tonight, before tonight's game, I should say, I haven't added up these stats after a couple games tonight. The New York Knicks in 4th place. The Orlando Magic in 6th place. The Orlando Magic got a new coach, they paid their coach, offering a 4-year deal because of their positioning, what they've done this season. The Indianapolis Pacers, they're 1.5 games separate them. The 4, 5, and 6 seeds, 1.5 games separate them. Who finishes now that New York Knicks got Anunoby back? Russell is still on the mend. Who finishes with the higher seed? The Knicks, the Magic, or the Pacers?
Probably the Knicks.
Yeah, they're 4 right now.
I mean, because Mathurin is not playing for the Pacers, so they're not as strong as they were. I think the Magic are playing a little bit over their head. Although I like to see what
you've been saying this. You've been saying this all year. Here we are, 20 games, less than 20 games to go, and they're in the 5th seed. You said they've been playing over their head. Do you expect them to stay in the play-in or fall to the play-in? Stay in the playoff race, or do
you just said they're the 5th best team in the Eastern Conference, so I expect them to stay right about there.
Okay. Since the Pacers are without one of their shooters, you expect them to hang in there? Okay, that's fair enough. The Suns are 7th. Excuse me. The Suns are 6th seed. The Kings are 7th seed. The Mavericks are 8th seed. 1 game separates these 3 teams. 1 game. Who finishes with the higher seed? Suns, Kings, or Magic or Maverick? Excuse me, with Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be the Suns.
Are you satisfied with what you're seeing from the Suns? Do you like the way they're rounded into shape now? With the quarter of the season left to go. What's your thoughts on how the Suns progressing? We already know you're gonna hate on the Kings, so I'm not even gonna ask you about the Kings. And then the Mavericks, are you pleased? Or how do you feel about the Magic? They're 8th seed right now. I think that's a little underwhelming in my personal opinion, considering Luka's been on this tear that he is, and you got Kyrie, and they got a couple young cats to run the floor and play some defense. I think the 8th seed is kind of low for them. But what's your thoughts on the Suns and the Mavericks?
Well, I kind of look at it as if we're taking the perspective that both teams will be 100% completely healthy going into whatever part of the playoffs we're talking to. And if it's 100% health, I like the Phoenix Suns. If there's other factors to be considered, well, then you have to kind of change it up a little bit, and perhaps the Mavericks. I know Luka likes the bright lights. I know that Kyrie is capable of doing spectacular things at spectacular moments. So they're always a threat. They're always a danger. But Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal healthy sounds better to me than Kyrie and Luka.
Are you ready to give Grayson Allen some love yet? I told you at the beginning of the season that he's going to be an integral part of that team. He's not an all-star. No, he's not a superstar. But they needed role players. And they needed somebody who could come in there and, be a little gritty, play a little defense, and score the ball. Are you ready to give Grayson Allen some love?
Cam, I am, only because I was watching the game against the Lakers, and every time he was open, it was just splash city. And I'm like, okay, this is the 4th time. This is the 5th time. This is the 6th time. It's like you cannot. That's clearly someone that you cannot rotate over. You have to be cognizant of where he is on the court, and he's a factor. And if you have those other 3 guys plus him, yeah, that's a major thing. Now, of course, that being said, if he's out there tripping people, I mean, he may end up in concussion protocol and not really actually be available for the game.
Come on, man. You talking about you bringing
He's
up
out there
old,
tripping people,
you're bringing up old stuff,
you know,
man.
pushing people, spitting on them. He might be in
You-
concussion protocol. I don't know.
You're bringing up old stuff now. Here you go. You see, some memories never fade.
Hard flagrant fouls for no reason. Wow. It's just because you're not.
Again,
Because you're
this
not.
is Coach. He don't have Coach K. He don't have Coach K protecting him. He don't have Coach K protecting him. So
No,
I think
he's not.
I think he recognized that. I think he recognized that when he came into the league, and kind of with Memphis, he was forced to kind of clean up his act.
Okay,
So-
but he was still flagrant fouling people, and like, hey, had to be escorted down the tunnel by the authorities just to make sure that nothing happens to you.
See how you bringing up old stuff now. You bringing up old stuff. Cleveland, who's the sixth man of the year? We'll get to some of the end of the season accolades kind of later on, but I think the sixth man of the year race is this race is. I think when I watch the games, I know who I think should be sixth man of the year, but then when I look at some numbers, I think it kind of changes my mind a little bit. But I think either way, these two, Malik Monk for the Sacramento Kings, and I'm answering my own question right now. So one of these guys you're going to have to give some love to. Malik Monk is somebody you're familiar with, somebody who your Lakers just decided he wasn't good enough for your team for whatever reason. I mean, they could use a guy like that somehow, but you guys just decided he wasn't good enough for your team, and we're going to offer him some peanut. Would you guys offer him some box lunches and some sweatsuits for a contract? Is that how you guys did him? Right now, he's averaging 15 point, almost 16 points a game, 3 rebounds a game, 5.3 assists per game. Or Norman Powell, who's the Kings, by the way, are their 7th seed. His production has helped them to get to the 7th seed in the West. Or Norman Powell for the Clippers, who's averaging 13.8, we'll say 14 points a game, 2.7 rebounds and 1.1 assists. But they're playing. He's helping a fourth place team get to where they are. Who do you have as a sixth man of the year, or do you have somebody else?
Oh no, man! It's clearly Norman Powell. I mean, the way he's been able to kind of fit in and gel with those other personalities, those other LA kids. The Paul Georges and the Kawhi Leonards and the James Hardens of the world. The way that he's been able to mesh his game into being effective. Yeah, that's way more productive than that Malik Monkey over there in Sacramento.
See? I don't know what's up with Sacramento. I mean, maybe you went up there, you didn't get treated. What did they leave you did they lose your luggage when you got off the airplane in Sacramento? What happened?
Never been a Sac Town.
Oh.
They've just always been pretenders. I mean, they're just it's Sacramento. It's like I was gonna make a reference to another.
Now you're gonna say you might sound like a Phil Jackson. You gonna say what Phil Jackson?
Oh yeah. No, I was right with Phil. Like, oh man, them cowbells are annoying, man. Can't wait to get out of here. Let's just get this series over with and move on with the things that we need to get done.
Boots, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Boots.
I feel that.
You're not wrong. Has he been as integral? Has he been as integral though as Norman Powell or Malik Monk? Nas is he's a factor. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. He's been a factor for the Timberwolves. Not only is he stretching the defense?
Busting somebody up the other day. I was like, man.
Not only is he stretching the defense, but he's shooting. He's not only is he stretching the defense.
Stretching the defense by shooting so well.
He's stretching the defense by shooting, but he adds defense. He has defense. His numbers through 66 game is right at 13 points a game. Right at 13 points a game, right at 5 rebounds a game and 1 assist. So I don't think his numbers are better, but what this doesn't say is the defense that he's playing. So that's a good call by you, Boots. I just don't Minnesota's have a better record. They have a better record than the Clippers and the Kings, and they just smacked the Clippers last night, and he was a factor. So it's kind of hard to say that he's not been a factor, but I think I want to say Norman Powell is by far and away, Cleveland. I want to agree with you. He's been far and away better, the better sixth man of the year. But Malik Monk's numbers are better. They are on the 7th place team, but his numbers he's getting 16 points a game with over 5 assists a game. Those are better numbers than what Norman Powell is doing. Better than what Naz Reid are doing, but they are in the 7th seed. So how is he factoring into wins? Naz Reid is in the bad call. Boots is not a bad call. I just in watching the games, I'm a little biased in watching the games though. I think Norman Powell has had more impact on the winning to me, in my opinion. But that's not a bad call. Let me get your feedback on this, Boots. And Barry, feel free to chime in, Barry. Who is the face of the NBA? This is kind of a two-part question here. This is kind of a two-part question. Who is the face of the NBA? And can the face of the NBA be a foreign player?
So the face of the NBA is the king, LeBron James. Can the face of the NBA?
He's 40 years old. He can't be the face of the NBA.
Can the face of the NBA be a foreign player? Absolutely yes, because that next face of the NBA is going to be a cat in San Antonio right now named Victor Wembanyama.
LeBron can't be the face of the NBA.
He is the face of the NBA.
He can't be. Is he even playing tonight? Is LeBron even playing tonight? Let me see. I haven't seen him on the court yet. He might not even be playing.
I'm sorry. So who has the most points in the history of the National Basketball Association?
Oh my goodness, that's over 20 years. That's not this season. That's over 20 years.
Face.
Come on, cut it out.
When you think of the NBA, you think of LeBron James first.
No,
and then the rest of the cats after that.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Stop it.
Who else are you thinking about?
Not him.
Okay, so when you talk about the NBA, who is the first person you think about?
Wemby, Giannis.
Whoa,
Come on, Tatum.
Slow down. Take your time. Take a breath.
Listen.
When you think of the NBA, who is the first player that you think about?
Not that guy. How about that?
Okay,
is that clear enough for you?
Say? And remember now, we have fans, so your credibility is on the line here. Who's the first person you think about?
I don't even think the fans agree with you.
So who's the first person you think about, Cam?
Wembanyama.
Oh, man. See? Come on.
LeBron is playing tonight. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. 0 for 1 3-pointers.
It's not stats. It's who's the face of the NBA. It's not Victor Wembanyama. It's not the first person you think about. So who was the next person you was talking about?
LeBron, possibly Steph. I don't know that Steph's the face of the NBA.
Okay. So then you don't have any other answers. So it's still the
I said Luka, Giannis, Tatum, Anthony Edwards. We talked about him earlier.
You see how perfect that statement is? Let's try this. Let's read what Boots has to say. The non-NBA fan has no idea who Giannis, Luka,
come on. I don't know.
Gilgeous Alexander are.
You don't agree with
all
that.
know who Steph and LeBron are, though.
You don't agree with that.
And between those, I absolutely agree with that.
The Greek freak. The fans don't know who the Greek freak is. Come on, He's 6 years in.
Casual NBA fan.
He's 6 years in his NBA career. He's a champion, 2-time MVP player.
Bro,
what you talking about?
If you put Giannis's face and LeBron's face up together, 95% of the people will know who LeBron is. 46% of the people will know who Giannis Antetokounmpo is.
Boots is in Middle America. Boots is in Middle America. We got to remember that. Boots is right there in the heartland.
But why is Middle America not not to be considered? Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that says something about your that says something about your selection process, Boots. I don't know. I don't know. Buddy.
So for example, Cam, Giannis and Luka, they can't make movies, and people know who they are.
About Giannis, the Greek freak.
Yeah, no, he can't make a movie.
Luka is not there. Luka's not at that point. I would agree with that. But okay, you brought up something else. You just touched on another point. Did you see when your guy, who you want to consider the face of the league, which he decided he wasn't playing on Friday night, but he's schmoozing and getting all cuddly with Jeanie Buss? Cleveland, I ask you again, when is the biopic coming out? When is the biopic, the Spring Hill biopic on Jeanie Buss? What is it? When's the release date on that, Cleveland? Can you let us know what the release date is?
I told you a long time ago it was a partnership.
But I know. So tell me again. Let the fans know.
It even went so far, but Cam. It even went so far that Golden State thought that they had some kind of pull, and Jeanie was like, "Yeah, call him. Here's his number. If you don't believe it from me."
That's a cold one. That's a cold one.
Let him tell you himself.
Do you think Jeanie gave him the number? Here's a number: 213.
Call him. Throw it on speakerphone if you want. I mean, just so we can all be clear about this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You got me there, Boots. Middle America should be the barometer for this question. Yeah, exactly. Not those elites. We love having you, Boots. Thanks for chiming in. Cleavon, when is the biopic coming out, man? You keep averting the question again. You're diverting my question. A year or two.
Year or two.
Man. You remember, you guys heard it here first. There's going to be a biopic on Spring Hill is going to produce a biopic on Jeanie Buss. I don't think it's going to be 2 years. It's going to happen soon. Remember, you heard it here first, fans. You heard it here first. There's going to be a biopic on Jeanie Buss as long as LeBron is there. So you guys say LeBron and Steph is still the face of the league. Wemby, Giannis, Luka, Tatum. Where's Tatum in this? Anthony Edwards? No. Tatum been in 5 Eastern Conference championships. Lives in Boston. The high all the population count is high up there in the Northeast. No.
So Steph's got 4 championships.
It's not about championship. I'm not asking who has the most championships. That's not the question.
When you start talking about the face of the league, you have to start with championships and who is more recognizable. How are you going to talk about the face of a league and you don't have any championships? It's weird. And in your first season, and you're not even from here, how are you going to be the face of the league?
The whole world knows who this guy is. We talked about
that's not the face of the National Basketball Association.
We talked about the last couple of weeks how the National Basketball,
the whole world is not a 19-year-old. He's played his first season in the NBA. LeBron's played 20 years and has been prodigy since he was a junior in high school.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Cut it out.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm not getting nowhere with this guy. I'm not getting nowhere with this guy. Cleveland. Talking about a high school player. Well, how did they build a statue of Kobe Bryant and have all these misspellings on the statue?
Oh, I don't know.
Misspelling the teammates, misspelling the stats, the coach's name. Come on, Cleveland.
I don't make bronze statues, so I have no idea what that process is like whatsoever.
What's going on here? No, there's no fact checker, no proofreader.
I don't build bronze statues. I have no idea.
This is your guy. This is your guy. This is your team. Well, what Jeanie too busy prepping in production for this biopic that's coming out?
Cam, again, I am not part of the bronze statue making process, so I can't answer any of your questions with regards to why there are mistakes or blemishes.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about that. You see, fans, how quickly he diverts from questions that he don't want to talk about. You see how quickly that is.
I just don't know. This is not my subject of expertise. I don't know why the bronze statue got messed up. Why are you asking me?
Oh, you're a Lakers fan. I figure you and
I
you
am,
have
but I don't know the
Any-
bronze
you have-
statuist. I don't know the person making the bronze statue. Who that person is and what happened during the process. I had no idea.
Man, I mean, are you guys embarrassed, man? Or how quickly can we
A
get
little
this?
bit. Yeah, of course we're embarrassed. You don't want to do that to Kobe's legacy? Of course not.
Yeah, so like, you guys are doing a little more celebrating and focusing on what needs to be done.
Okay, well, why don't you worry about what the Intuit Dome is about to do next year? Okay.
Ooh, wait till you see it, boy! I can't wait to get out there for that.
I know it's going
grand
to be
opening
state of the
of
art.
those
It's going to look like the Starship Enterprise out there.
Whatever it looks like,
Sure.
it's gonna be the best arena in all of basketball.
I bet
all
it
of the
will
NBA.
be. I bet it will be.
All of the NBA.
I know it.
So I mean, you really watch your mouth with Bomber. You better watch your mouth with Bomber.
I know. And Mr. Bomber, let me be clear. I am just being facetious. I understand who you are, and I want no problems with you, Mr. Bomber. None whatsoever.
He not buying that. So last week, fans, the games we predicted, the Celtics versus the Nuggets. The Nuggets won that game. We both picked the Celtics, or excuse me, we both put the Nuggets in that game. We also had the Lakers and the Bucks. I thought for sure Dame was coming to town to burn up crypto like he typically does. So you bring that the Portland Trailblazers would be 13th in the Western Conference, and then Portland will come and put it on the Lakers, and that not so much with the Bucks. The Lakers ended up winning that game, and we had the Rockets and the Kings. I had the Rockets winning that game. Cleveland picked the Kings, and the Kings actually won that game. So look at Cleveland showing
Swept them once again. Some more sweeps.
No, you had Milwaukee. You have Milwaukee over the Lakers. So no
Okay.
sweep there. Settle down. Settle down.
Okay.
Settle down.
Just checking back.
This week, the game we picked this week was the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. I got OKC. We both got OKC in this game here. On Friday night, that game is tomorrow night. On Friday night, so I try to not keep these games too far out because that was one of Cleveland's complaints is, oh, this is the NBA. It's not like every game is on Sunday. We can't look too far ahead. Blah, blah, excuses. That's what excuses was to me. So I try to keep these games. I don't want to go past Sunday, or definitely try not to go past Monday too far ahead. But so tomorrow night we got Mavericks and the Thunder. We both got the Thunder winning this game. Friday night we got the Clippers playing Cleveland's Pelicans. Cleveland took the Pelicans over the Clippers. Look at that. And then I think it's Sunday. The Suns play the Bucks. The Suns play the Bucks, and we both have Phoenix in that game. So OKC versus the Dallas Mavericks, Clippers versus the Pelicans, and the Suns versus the Bucks. We agree on the Suns, and we agree on the Thunder. I got the Clippers over New Orleans, and we'll see how that game shakes out. So that's a Friday night game. We'll see how it checks out. As of this moment, fans, Cleveland is 5 out of 12. I'm 4 out of 12. So Cleveland has a slight lead on this prediction right now.
Winning.
As of this moment.
Winning.
Slightly. By a slight margin. Okay, fans. We delayed it long enough. This week has been it was going to jump in and talk about the QB carousel in the NFL. However, it just, all the everything started to happen. Things starting to happen so fast and furious. I'm going to see if I can keep track of it all. But Cleveland, we had the QB carousel started off this week. Baker got 3 years, $100 million. What's your thoughts about Baker going back to Tampa Bay? It was kind of expected since they signed Mike Evans, right? That was kind of expected that Baker would. I mean, why you want to go somewhere else and not have that big guy to throw to?
For sure, very, very cap friendly. He liked being there. They liked him being there, so it was cool. There was no animosity. They overachieved last year. Let's see what they can do next year, and try and reach higher heights.
Russell Wilson signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you tell me, Russell signed with your guy Mike Tomlin. They've been in search for a quarterback. clearly Russell's. You think Russell's better than Pickett, right? You'd agree with
I
Russell?
do think Russell is better than Kenny Pickett. Yeah.
So although they lose Johnson. Johnson went and signed with somebody. Who did Johnson sign with?
They traded Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, and they released Allen Robinson.
So there's still just one real target there. Well, no, they have Freiermuth. They had the tight end, and they got one big receiver. So they're likely to draft somebody. And knowing that the Pittsburgh Steelers track record, they'll get a stud wide receiver in there, right? Sure. Does this make them a playoff team? Does Russell Wilson make the Pittsburgh Steelers a playoff team this season?
Well, first things first, let's wait to see how Russell Wilson's leadership qualities, translate to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if he's able to acclimate to the system, and if he's able to, get on board and be a great teammate. If so, I think he can definitely be the starter, come the start of the season.
Here's AD grabbing his rib cage. Here's AD looking, calling over, looking over at the trainers. Uh-oh. At least he didn't go down, but he's grabbing himself right now. You're questioning Russell's leadership ability right now?
No, I'm just saying he needs to establish that with his newfound teammates. I mean, while he was here in Seattle, it was never a question. In Denver, there was a little bit of questioning that, but it's onto a new team. We'll see how it goes.
But he's a veteran quarterback coming to a primarily young, youthful team. Like,
okay? Well, then maybe he has something to to offer, to contribute, and if so, and from a leadership perspective,
that's interesting that you would even question that. So that's your concern? Is could it be a good leader? I mean,
no. I mean,
what about the head coach? Is the head coach a leader?
It's just one of the hurdles to get over with regards to becoming the starting quarterback.
What about the head coach? I mean, Tyronn Lue in the NBA gets a lot of players all the time. Every year he got a bunch of players coming in, and they're able to ingratiate themselves on the team and find a role and play.
Tyronn Lue is not the same caliber of a coach that Mike Tomlin is in the NFL. I mean, that's not even a thing. Come on now, Cam. Can't compare those two things.
Do we want to talk about championships now, or what do you want to talk about?
Yes, 1-1.
Yeah. So what's your how you say
Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season in 17 straight seasons?
It means they've been mediocre. That's exactly what that stat says. Is they've been mediocre for 17 straight seasons. Okay. That's exactly what that says.
All right, cool. And what's Tyronn Lue's record since not coaching LeBron James?
They was in the conference championship.
Just 525. 525.
They was in the conference championship just a couple years ago. But Cleveland, I'm concerned now that you bring up you saying can Russell fit in? Like, isn't there a culture there that the coach has established that the coach brings in players
and he needs to fit into that. That's what I'm saying. Once he establishes that he's one of those guys. I mean, like, for example, when he transferred from NC State to Wisconsin, it didn't take very long. Like 2-3 months, he was the captain. Like, okay. Once he came up here to Seattle, and it was already knew the playbook better than all the coaches, 2 months after he got drafted, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason, it didn't work out in Denver. Sean Payton and him didn't like each other, or Sean Payton didn't like him for whatever reason. And so now he's on to a new place. And if he can, apply those same things that he's been able to apply other places, he'll be just fine.
So you're not ready to say that Pittsburgh Steelers are a better team with Russell Wilson at quarterback?
I think they are, but I still think that he just can't just, sign a contract and all of a sudden you're the guy. There's other, steps that need to be taken in order to become that.
So they were.
I have no doubt that he's not going to do that. If that's what you keep asking me, no, I think he will do that, but he still has to do it. It's still a process.
Thanks, Boots. Hey, Boots. Don't say that too loud, Boots. I know it's in black and white up here, but Boots, dude, don't say that too loud because so many people get offended when you call out Mike Tomlin for what his lack of gloriness that they want to praise all over this dude. If they were 9-8 last year, Russell not worth 3 wins to make it, 12-5.
I have no idea what the schedule's going to look like. We haven't had a draft, so I'm not going to make record predictions right now.
So you don't have. So you're not confident in that.
Early for that.
Are you? Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, man. Kirk Cousins, bro. You got to applaud him and his agent, bro, for just. I think, in fact, Russell Wilson is only. Russell Wilson is one of 3 players that have made more money in the NFL than Kirk Cousins by the end of the Kirk Cousins deal here with the Falcons. Russell Wilson is only one of 3 players who made more money. I forget who the other 2 are, but Russell's one of them. Made more money in the NFL than Kirk Cousins. You got to applaud his ownership. I mean, you got to applaud his agent. Got the 2 guaranteed contracts on the franchise tag with Washington. Got guaranteed money from Minnesota, and now is getting 4-year, $180 million with $100 guaranteed. I think it is from the Falcons. How do you like this fit? How do you like this fit for the Falcons? That would be the first question I ask you.
Man, I think that they just kind of did the assessment, and the draft didn't look great, and they didn't like the other quarterbacks in the free agency market, so. This was kind of like a now or never kind of move to try and improve what it is that they're doing, give them some stability at that position. And, it certainly makes them better.
So there's continuity between the head coach of I'm having a brain fart of my guys. Raheem Morris. He was in Washington when Kirk Cousins got drafted. I thought when Kirk Cousins got drafted, I was like, that's an excellent backup quarterback. Excellent. I thought he was okay at Michigan State. He wasn't spectacular. He was okay. But coming to the league, I thought, man, he's an excellent backup quarterback. That's a great. I'm not sure you could get a better backup quarterback than Kirk Cousins. RG3 goes down, Kirk Cousins comes in, and he does just enough, man. He does just enough to tickle your tongue, man. To wet your tongue. He does just enough. And then Washington wasn't great, but he did just enough wins, just enough games every year. And then went to Minnesota, and again, he wasn't spectacular. Does just enough is obviously his prime time. I think his prime time record is like 3-14, which is not impressive. But any other time, when he plays that Sunday game at 1:00, he's tearing it up. You put him at Sunday night or Monday night, there's questions. There's issues. But Sunday at 1, he's hot. He comes in there hot, ready to go. But I thought Kirk Cousins coming out of Michigan State was just a fantastic backup quarterback. And this guy's been able to parlay his career into the 4th highest paid player in the NFL history. Gets another killing. I think they'll be good. They'll certainly be good. Does this vault them up into the top of the AFC or NFC South with Carolina, the Saints, the Carolina, the Saints, who else? The Buccaneers, and the Falcons. Does that make them the best team in the conference? It's hard to argue not.
Makes them the front runner to win the division for sure. Yeah,
and I think what's the tight end's name? I think he's going to be happy to see him.
Pitts will be better. Drake London will be better. Yeah. Bijan will be better.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a
receiver. They'll be better. Yeah,
they'll be better. We'll see.
And Desmond Ridder behind center. Yeah, it's an improvement for sure.
Yeah, certainly better than Desmond Ridder. Now they have a legitimate head coach. Their coach stunk last year, so it's going to be interesting to see how they, see what they pull out. Who wears number 8 though next year?
Oh, Kirk Cousins. Kyle Pitts got to give it up.
He just got to give it up, or Kirk got to buy him out?
Yeah, no, he's got to give it up, man.
What, the GM comes in and tell him, no, You got to
Yeah.
pass this along. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So what does Minnesota do? Do they pay Justin Jefferson? Do they pay him $30 million a year now? Do they trade him? Like what do they? What happens with Justin Jefferson?
You trade him.
You just blow it up.
Well, I mean, they don't have a quarterback that can throw to him, so I mean,
Right.
he's not going to sign some big. I mean, perhaps if it's all about the Benjamins, and he can, if you're willing to offer me $200 million, yeah, I'll take it. But
that's not going to last long. His happiness is not going to last long.
I mean, he's a diva number one, so he wants to go someplace where they at least have a quarterback. I mean, he doesn't want to go through a Keyshawn Johnson type of career. Like, hey, man, like who's throwing me the football? That's kind of an important question when you're a diva number one.
I mean, that's a huge question. That's
Yeah.
a huge question. He went.
Yeah, you don't want to go through Vinny Testaverde twice and Chad Pennington
played
and
with,
Brad Johnson and
just the
whoever-
second half of the season last year without Kirk Cousins was like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
So I mean, what would you do? What would you do if you're Minnesota? Do you throw him a bag and say, "Come on, stick around, and we'll get you"?
No, you
You know,
trade
we're
him.
gonna do our best.
You trade him. You don't have anybody that can accentuate his strengths to use it, have him playing at his highest and best use. I mean, there's just they don't have a quarterback.
I mean, this is a receiver-heavy draft, though, so it's not like are you
Right.
thinking-
So trade him and get one that's, obviously it's not going to be, on par with Justin Jefferson, but
I mean, they got a decent receiving core. They got Addison from USC.
they have more than a decent receiving core with those two. That's top 10 in the league.
So you don't think they could go find
Go find a quarterback? No.
So this is my problem with the NFL and scouting. Like, I know you don't like Brock Purdy. I know you're not convinced, but they should be able to pull another Brock Purdy out of somewhere, man. Some in the 5th or 6th round.
But see, that's the difference. Brock
What?
Purdy, you can pull into that offense. If you had to pull Brock Purdy into an offense where he had to throw through tight windows all the time, you're not happy.
We just talked about they have the best receiver in football in the NFL. They have Addison, who's not a scrub. Addison's the top 15 receiver in the NFL. You put him or give him a running. They got who did they get from? Who went up there?
Aaron Jones went up there.
Aaron, thank you. Aaron Jones went up there. So they got a decent running back. They have to be able to find a quarterback that went to Arizona State.
You don't just find quarterbacks like that.
I disagree, man. I disagree. They should be able to. They should be able to draft a quarterback who could play decent. I'm not asking the quarterback to be. I'm not asking the quarterback to make the Pro Bowl. I'm not saying go get a Pro Bowl quarterback. If he turned out to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, that's excellent. But you should be able to find a adequate quarterback in. There's 120 colleges, right? So that
Kirk
means
Cousins was an adequate quarterback. They decided they didn't want to keep him. So what, they got to go get somebody that's like
they kind of
subpar to him, and then expect for your number one diva receiver to be happy?
You expect your receiving core to kind of make the quarterback better, right?
No,
you don't think so?
They don't throw the ball to themselves, Cameron. How many times we got to go over this, man? They don't throw the ball to themselves.
I don't know. That's the frustrating part of the draft. I think out of 120 colleges that play NCAA football, that means there are 240.
Just how challenging the position is, right? Because out of all those people, it's very, very rare that they find somebody. Watch how this draft goes. One player after the end of this year is going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a legitimate quarterback. All the rest of those guys are like, wow, what were we thinking? Every single one of them.
Who's that quarterback? On another note, who's that quarterback? Out of Drake May,
It's Caleb.
The Heisman Trophy winner.
After
Just
Caleb,
one guy. That's it.
You should stop the conversation.
So okay, so the Minnesota trade for what you call it? Trade for Justin Fields, because it looks like we haven't. Looks like Justin Fields, Cleveland. You had this 3 weeks ago. They're gonna draft Caleb, and Justin Fields is gonna be this backup. That's so cold, man. That's gonna be so cold. But you just said that 3 weeks ago. I didn't want to believe you, but that's looking like what's gonna happen, right?
The NFL owners have been very I don't even know what the word is. It's been you're going to be someone else's problem. You're not going to be my problem. And if you go to that next team and tear it up, man, I am so happy for you. But hey, we're done with this experiment. Everyone, for almost every player, there's really been no like free agency splash. Like, oh my God, so-and-so went to wherever. It's been someone else that did not want that player anymore. It's just that simple. Eckler going to the Commanders.
Saquon going to
the Eagles.
That's not a Giants loss. You don't feel the Giants lost that deal?
What I'm saying is the Giants are like, hey, man, if you go over there and tear it up, I am so happy for you, but you're not going to be our problem anymore.
I think the Giants lost in that deal.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Everyone is like okay with if we made a mistake. Like, they're not like, ooh, I got to hold on to him just in case he finally reaches his fullest potential. Everyone's like, nah, man, we tried.
The Chiefs didn't let Chris Jones out the door. They went ahead and paid him. They went and paid him, gave him 95 guaranteed.
But who else did that now?
Huh?
But who else did that? No one else did that. Everyone else is just like, man, we tried. And right now, the Cowboys don't even have a running back.
Who's that?
The Cowboys. They let Pollard go. Like, okay.
I don't know what they're thinking about. Derrick Henry. Speaking of
the, your guy went to the Packers.
So you don't think? You think the Giants? I think the Giants lost on not signing Saquon.
They probably all lost, but you're missing the point. They all said, even if it's a loss, I'm okay with the loss. Usually owners are like, no, because we've invested all this time and money into you. I want to see, I want to know 100% that we're not going to take a loss on this. And right now, the league is saying, we don't care.
That's crazy.
You're going to be someone else's problem. That's why Justin Fields doesn't have a home.
The Dolphins didn't sign Christian Wilkinson. Oh, he goes to the Raiders. Oh, that hurts. Robert Hunt signs with the Panthers. The Dolphins did get your guy Jordan Brooks. I don't know. He led the team in tackles. What, two of his 3 years with the Seahawks? T. Higgins requests a trade. He's requesting a trade, and I think this is the wrong time for that. Tony Pollard signs with the Titans. I mean,
and they're going to be expecting Derrick Henry type bell cow like production from Tony.
No. They have another guy. They have a guy on the rookie. His name is skipping my head right now, but they have another guy who was a rookie who was shining last year.
Okay.
You
know how I feel when you don't remember that person's name. Means that they're not that significant. Otherwise, you would remember his name.
No, I'm telling you, I want to say Spears or Sears.
Okay, something like that. Spears, Sears, Tears, something like that.
You know what I'm. Well,
not like Derrick Henry, though, is it?
It's not Derrick Henry. No, it's not.
Okay.
However, it was. It's somebody that I'd be happy. Now you got the problem was him and Pollard are kind of the same, like speed, breakaway backs. Okay, neither one of them was neither one of them is a bell cow back. To your point, neither one of them is a bell cow back. Um, what does the dude say? I was trying to snatch him up on fantasy football. That's what I'm telling you. There's he's a quality back, but I don't even have him on a depth chart.
Okay, well that's cool, man. That's cool.
Nonetheless, Pollard goes there. Swift goes. DeAndre Swift goes to the Bears, and I mentioned this before. I'm
Just can't catch a break, that guy, huh?
I'm baffled by. I'm baffled. Detroit Lions got rid of him. Sent him to Philly. Now Philly gets rid of him. I don't understand what was. I don't understand. He has to be a bad locker room guy. He was productive with the Eagles. The Eagles' problem is they didn't run the ball enough. Josh Jacobs goes to the Packers. What do you think Josh Jacobs does with the Packers? Is he better than Aaron Jones? Will he have a better season than Aaron Jones with the Packers?
Had last year? I don't know, man. Aaron Jones got into the playoffs and got off from what I could see. And I can't believe the Cowboys didn't go get him. He's from the area. Like, that's weird. If you're not going to keep Pollard, why didn't you go get Aaron Jones?
Yeah, why did they go get Derrick Henry either? I don't know. But what do you think, Josh Jacobs? I know you're not a fan of Josh Jacobs. You think his tread is thin, is wearing thin. But do you think he is better? I think he's going to be better. I think he was outside of Henry. I understand why a lot of people would pick Henry. Henry goes to the Ravens, which I think is a good pickup. But Josh Jacobs was the best running back on the market. It was Josh Jacobs.
I mean, playing with Jordan Love, that play action should be spectacular. I mean, we'll see how it works.
And they got a decent receiving core, so I think Josh Jacobs was the best running back on the market. Austin Eckler signs with the Commanders. Blah. Like, come on. I like Austin. I don't like this move for Austin Eckler. I'm not expecting much from the Commanders. I don't like this move for Austin Eckler. Like, he's not he needs to be around players. And unfortunately, who's on the Commanders? Who's on the Commanders?
Scoring McLaurin and Doxson. Antonio Gibson moved along. He went to the Patriots. So yeah, not a lot of talent on offense over there.
Yeah. I don't like that move. I don't like that move for Austin. But get your money. I mean, 2 years worth 11. So you get $6 million a year because the deal is 11.5. So Gus Edwards signed with the Chargers. I kind of understand that. He with his former OC who was with the Ravens go to the Chargers. So I understand that. Becoming a bigger back. He's going to be. Unless they get somebody else, now he's going to be the man. So he's not going to share the backfield with anybody. Gabe Davis signs with the Jaguars. CJ really got a bag. 4 years, $92 million, $50 guaranteed. I'm surprised he left Jacksonville, but he goes to Tennessee. Like, that's a surprising move. Like, you would leave. Does that tell you he went for the money? Because he leaves Trevor Lawrence to go play with a second-year quarterback in.
Yeah, he left for the money and to become the focal point of that receiving core.
Who was the focal point of the Jacksonville receiving core with him there?
Who was the other
Kirk?
guy over there?
Kirk was the other guy, but I don't know.
Because they signed Christian Kirk to the big deal beforehand.
But Christian Kirk, I don't know that he was a better receiver. I don't know. I mean, I'm not totally enamored. I got some questions about Trevor Lawrence, but you leave Trevor Lawrence to go to the second year guy? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess you just want to get paid.
$92 million. I don't know how much guaranteed, but yeah,
50 mil guaranteed.
Try it over there in Tennessee, man.
Let's
Try it over there in Nashville and see what happens, man.
Yeah. Fletcher Cox, member of all the decade team. He says he's done. Kelsey retires so the Eagles got two major holes to replace. Let's talk about this Derrick Henry to the signs with the Ravens. Ravens, what do you think about this trade? The Ravens like to run, or they have been over the last few years, ran kind of running back by committee offense. You bring Derrick Henry in there, where Derrick Henry kind of needs 12, 15, 17 carries to kind of get going. He's going to be best late in the game, right?
No, a great free agency pickup because he's going into a situation where the quarterback is just as much of a threat running the ball as the running back, and better offensive line. And this is not a situation where the box will always just be 8 people trying to stop the run. It's got to be other things, and so he'll have a much better opportunity to have success.
So I understand it. That he's going to take some carries from Lamar Jackson, or he should take carries from Lamar Jackson. He should take some carries, but Lamar is a threat that you're going to have to contend with. As you mentioned, there are some receivers that they're probably going to draft another receiver to put to take your boy Odell's position. So there's going to be some talent out there. Plus, they have the 2 tight ends coming back. So it's interesting, but they lose Patrick Queen, like. Derrick Henry, Patrick Queen. Derrick Henry, Patrick Queen. Like I trust that they'll be able, like Pittsburgh, be able to draft a receiver. I trust that they'll be able to fill their linebacker spot adequately. However, when you already have one, like it's interesting that you let them go. Queen goes and signs with the Steelers. I was kind of hoping he'd fall down there to South Beach, but he went to the Steelers. I think just same concept. I mean, they're going to get the best out of him as they can. What's your thoughts on the Chargers cutting your guy Mike Williams?
Oh man, not my guy, man. I was never enamored with that dude, but
quickly jump off the wagon.
Yeah, it just goes to show, just how quickly things can change, and that he just wasn't that guy, and they, a new regime, and not one of their guys.
Injury is an issue, man. He just always seemed to get hurt. Something always seemed to happen. The Bengals send Joe Mixon to Houston. What's your thoughts on that? Joe Mixon's a big dude, man.
Fantastic move. Provide some leadership. This is a team that's ready to win right now, and he will be a major contributor to whether that comes to fruition or not.
Commander signed your guy Bobby Wagner. You like that move?
For him, get one more year out of it, my dude.
Cleveland, do you like to see the three-peat? Is like the Chiefs obviously by signing Chris Jones, they're boning up for the three-peat. Are you rooting for a three-peat? Is that something that you want to see? Fans, do you guys like to see the three-peat, or do you like to see the parity of the league? What do you think?
Oh, I mean, Cam, if you're going for the three-peat, I would love to see that. It's never happened.
Yeah, I know it's never happened, but I'm just saying. Is that something that you'd be rooting for the Chiefs this season quietly?
Oh, for sure. If they can do it, if they can pull it off, that's heroic. Unprecedented success in the NFL. The league is not built for. The league is built so that you can't do that. So if you're actually able to do that, even though all the odds are against you, then that's extraordinary.
But you know why they have the opportunity to do that, right? You understand why they're in position to three-peat, right?
Yeah, the talent.
Yeah, they have that quarterback. That's why.
Oh, okay.
They have that guy. Because can you name a receiver on that team?
Let's Sky Moore.
Yeah, dig deep in the annals right there for that one. Huh? So out of the running backs left, Ezekiel Elliott, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Dillon, Devin Singletary, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Who you signing? Who you picking up?
Devin Singletary.
Looks like the Chargers are going to restructure Max deal. Bosa, I think it's on Friday. Bosa is due a roster bonus of like $13 million. What do you do with Bosa? Do you ask him to restructure or do you trade him?
You ask him to restructure. If he doesn't, you trade him.
You're sending him to Seattle or San Francisco?
Seattle.
Oh, you desperate up there, huh?
Not desperate, but we like to have him. He's available.
Yeah, I mean, the restructure. I mean, I don't know. That's a lot to ask of the guy, right?
Oh, for sure. For someone that's been able to do, his level of production.
Mac Jones signs with the Jaguars. Does this say? What did this say about Mac Jones, or what did this say about Trevor Lawrence?
Says for Mac Jones, hey man, perhaps I threw you in there a little too early and it was a little bit over your head. So why don't you take a few steps back and try and absorb and kind of learn some things and kind of perhaps at another time, and hopefully there's no major injury, so we have to throw you out there too early. Continue with your craft, but right now, you're a little over your skis, my dude.
So he's no threat to Trevor Lawrence?
No. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Really?
No.
You're happy with Trevor Lawrence, what he did last year?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think they were under 500 last year. You good with that?
I'm okay. Yeah. Mac Jones is not, coming in to try and, vie for Trevor Lawrence's spot.
Gardner Minshew. What school did he go to?
Gardner Minshew last year played for the Indianapolis Colts.
No, what school did they went to? What school, college did he go to? Was the question.
And the year before that, I believe it was the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But what college did he play for?
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, once you get to the NFL, what college he played for is irrelevant.
Trevor was kind of bad at the end of the year. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He was
his season last year.
Boots,
Okay,
he wasn't healthy.
Okay, the end of his season raised some concerns, some questions, some concerns. That's all I'm saying. So Mac Jones, you ready to say Mac Jones carried the clipboard, but get your baseball cap hat ready. Like he might be thrusted into competition midway through the season because Trevor Lawrence it's not a runaway Trevor Lawrence situation. But Gardner Minshew, the Washington State Cougar, signs with the Raiders. Do you expect Gardner Minshew to play 17 games as a starting quarterback for the Raiders next year?
I do not. Adequate backup. Adequate backup, though.
So who do you think the Raiders are going to sign? They're not going to get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco signed with somebody.
I would have wished they would have had a little bit
Joe
more.
Flacco went to Indy. Joe Flacco went to Indy, by the way.
Oh wow,
he signed with Indy.
Yeah, I would have thought that they would have had a little bit more pursuit for Justin Fields, but if not, it's going to be O'Connell.
Gardner Minshew can't beat out O'Connell.
I don't think so.
Come on, you're not really.
And I'm not thought camp. Not to break the show up. Because quick 45. Be right back.
Go get your mind right, man.
Before we get back, because I know you got some things to say, but let me get 45 real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Fans, let us know what you think. What was the best pickup on the off season thus far in the NFL? A lot of movements happened. Who was the best pickup, and what should the Minnesota Vikings do with Justin Jefferson? Sign and trade? Did they try to keep him? They're trying to draft a quarterback. Who was the best pickup, or what was the best signing of the offseason? We say Minshew is going to end up playing for every team in NFL. He's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. He can play with a lot of people. A lot of teams.
Apologies. I hope you guys weren't talking about. Oh yeah, Minshew's going to be one of those guys. Like, yeah, he always sounds like a good, good stopgap. Yeah, like to have him. Oh,
see,
he went 4-2 last year. That's great.
So what? Why isn't that good enough? Okay, Cleveland.
Because they're playing the NFL, which stands for what, Cam?
Gardner Minshew or Geno Smith?
Geno Smith.
This is the first time all year, all of 2024, that he said he'd rather take Geno Smith over anybody. That's the first time. That tells you how much he doesn't like Gardner Minshew fans. That tells you how much he doesn't like Gardner Minshew at all. So we want to see the three-peat. Okay, I'm with that. Chicago Bears are planning to build a dome right next to Soldier Field. What's your thoughts?
So they didn't want that home field Arctic tundra off of the Lake Michigan that you were talking about last week. Not so much like, nah, cover it up. It's real cold.
It gets real cold off of Lake Erie. That wind going in there.
Yeah.
But come on. I don't know if I ever shared this story, but boy, I went to Chicago, man. Real quick, man. Whew. Think I was in LA. So you guys would know what year this was because Darren Williams was still. That was the Darren Williams, D. Brown backcourt of Illinois in the NCAA. So what was that 2004, 2005?
Yeah, that was a good.
I was in Los Angeles. I had moved to Los Angeles, and I lived in Los Angeles for those 4 years, right? So living in Los Angeles, fans, you kind of lose concept of what weather is actually like, right? You just kind of lose it because it's either. Depending on what part of Los Angeles you live in, if you're in the valley, it's going to be 80 to 95 most days. If you not in the valley, down the hill, it's going to be 65 to 80 most days. Most days in the majority of the year. No rain, no real weather. So you just kind of lose concept of what actual weather is. And this is year round. So I met a friend 2005. Yeah, exactly.
Great team.
So met a friend up in New Jersey, and I didn't want to go to New Jersey. I said, let's meet in the middle of the country. Let's meet in Chicago. We met in Chicago the first week of April. While I'm making plans, I'm making arrangements, booking the hotel, booking the flight. It's 75 outside my window. I'm thinking I'm not even cognizant that it's still blizzarding in Chicago. I get on the plane. I board the plane. I got a windbreaker. Because I think it was 68 when I got on the plane in LA. I get on the plane with a windbreaker. That's all I had, fans. I'm thinking it's going to be very similar weather in Chicago. I get to Chicago. I get off the plane. Oh my goodness! That when you get off the plane and you got to walk through the tunnel from the airplane to the airport to the actual airport. Woo! That hawk hit me, boy. It jumped right straight through that jacket. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was shivering. I knew I had to rent a car. I was like, okay, I'll be in the car. If anything, I got to rent a car. I can turn the heat on. I'll be in the, from the rent a car to the place of establishment. Oh my goodness, Cleveland. It had to be 10 degrees outside. Waiting for my rent a car. I got to stand outside and I'm shivering. And within 10 minutes, I'm shivering. We're leaving LA, going to Chicago in the first week of April. It's the first week of April. I'm thinking it's springtime. Man, that was that weekend. I was out there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I came home. I was in bed 2 weeks. I was in bed 2 weeks because that week in Chicago, unprepared. I haven't been that sick before or since that those few days in Chicago. And boy, I tell you, there's good food in Chicago, Boots. I do know that. But boy, I couldn't believe there were still snowbanks on the side of the road in Chicago in the middle of April or in the beginning of April. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. I'm blown away. Didn't want to really leave the hotel room, but we, can't do everything. But you got to get out and see the city a little bit. I couldn't believe it, but that was my trip to Chicago, man. It was crazy. I've been there since in the summer where it's 98 degrees too. But yeah, so Bears are building that dome up there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so.
Makes perfect total sense.
Man, home field advantage, Bears. You lose it.
Oh wow, man. Build a team for speed then.
I'm with you, Wilbon. Keep the open air arena. They don't need it. That's what Wilbon said. We don't need the dome.
I know, because Wilbon is rich enough to afford one of those suites. When he goes to the game, he doesn't have to worry about it. It's climate controlled in there.
Yeah. If you ain't prepared for Chicago, it can get you. Man.
Oh yeah. I was in there in October, and wow,
it got me, bro. I was booking again. Living in LA, I just understand you lose concept of what real weather is. Just living up
for sure.
All right, fans. This week in history segment. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourself a round of applause. This is one of the fans' favorite special this week in history segment. Now I try to avoid some of the last week. I know was kind of somber, so I try to avoid some of the somber topics.
I was happier this time.
I try to pull out what I could, man. But
okay.
Man, I know the other week was pretty bad.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough.
March 13th, 1791, Benjamin Banneker with El Infante began layout of Washington, D.C. Banneker also is known to create, he's a creator, right? Creates inventions. He also known for creating the first functional clock in the U.S., made entirely out of wood. This clock that he created stayed accurate for over 50 years. Inventor. March 12th, 1930, Bessie Stringfield. Have you heard of her, Cleavon?
I'm not familiar with Bessie Stringfield.
Became the first Black woman to ride her motorcycle across the country. She was memorialized by American Motorcycle Association when they opened up their first Motorcycle Heritage Museum in Pinkerton, Ohio. At that time, just a kind of a backstory on Bessie Stringfield. At the time, obviously in the 1930s, it was still she wasn't invited everywhere. She slept on a motorcycle as she went across the country. Slept on her motorcycle. That was a pretty wild story.
Sounds very comfortable.
Yeah, I know, right? March 12, 1945, New York becomes the first state to establish a Fair Employment Practices Commission. 1945. March 12, 1968, the island nation of Coast of Africa, Mauritius, gains independence from France. March 13, 1979, the New Jewel movement, headed by Maurice Bishop, oust Prime Minister Eric Gairy, in a bloody coup in Grenada.
Do you remember when the United States went into Grenada?
When in the late 80s?
Yeah, mid-80s. Remember that?
Yeah.
That what do they call it? Conflict took exactly 6 hours, man. Like I was eating lunch, that shit was over.
They waved a red flag quick. We're done. We're done. It was surrender. Unlike when Russia invades Ukraine, like they still going at it.
Yeah, this is 6 hours, man. Lunch to dinner. Yeah, it was over.
March 15th, 1999. Maurice Ashley, Jamaican immigrant, received the rank given to only 500 worldwide, becoming first African American chess player to attain rank of international grandmaster. Are you a chess player? You know how to play chess?
I know how to play. I'm a big fan of the movie Fresh, but nothing like a Grand Wizard.
Yeah. March 9th, 1992, Chick Hearn, broadcaster for the Lakers, called his 2500th game, 2500th game, consecutive Laker game. The streak began November 1965. Were you a fan of Chick Hearn? Did you hear Chick Hearn?
I was a big fan of Chicky. I mean, he's one of the banners that the Clippers have to cover up before every game that they play. Sure did. They gave him a banner. You know what I'm talking about, Cam?
Nobody was talking about. I mean, how did the Clippers get into the conversation?
Oh, you were talking about Chick Hearn. I was just saying, like, I know who he is. He's one of the banners they got to cover up because they got a banner. That's all I was saying.
Did you legitimately? Did you hear Chick Hearn?
No, legitimately, I did. Chicky baby.
Chick. It was interesting to listen to Chick. I got to LA in 2000. So he covered all the games up to like 2003 or 4. But those last few years, you thought Kareem had made a comeback. You thought Worthy was on the court. You heard a lot of coop to the hoop. It's like, come on, Chick. Come on. These guys ain't played in quite a while, Chick. But shout out to Chick Hearn, man. The eggs in the freezer, the eggs is cooling, the jello's jiggling. He was comedy. He was comedy when I got there. He was comedy. I can say that. That was my memory of Chick Hearn. March 13, 1999, your guy AC Green, or he was then with the Dallas Mavericks, played his 1,000 consecutive game. I meant to check out to see who's the closest guy behind him, but he played his 1,000 consecutive basketball game, AC Green, and he did that with Dallas Mavericks. All right, Cleavon, we're getting close to tournament time. Okay. Did you check out South Carolina versus LSU? Did you watch the game? Did you see the brawl?
I was actually watching that game and I turned away from it for whatever reason and didn't get back to it before the brawl broke out. And homegirl's brother jumping over the
come on, dog,
table and whatnot, like trying to get on the court. Like, hey, man, what's going on here?
I mean, you know better than that, dog. I mean, they weren't throwing punches, dog. I mean, come on, dog.
She pushed her down, and then a little bit of melee broke out. But you should let those ladies take care of that business on their own. I don't think you need to get involved. That's weird.
Yeah, dog. You know, I mean, he credit to him. He jumped. He was in the front row, jumped over the initial barrier, then came and jumped over the scores table.
Yeah, this isn't high school, man. This isn't.
Yeah, come on, dog. But I mean, are you a fan of Kim Mulkey? I mean, are you a fan of Kim Mulkey?
I like the fact that she's an antagonist and kind of a lightning rod that just brings a lot of attention upon herself, and like either you like her or you don't, or whatever she may say or may rub you the wrong way. But I mean, she is a defending national champion right now. Don got to come get it from her.
So whatever.
Gino got to come get it from her. I mean, you know.
Oh, look at this. You like Kim Mulkey, huh?
Saying. I mean, I think it's good for women's college basketball. It always keeps it interesting. I don't think she's necessarily right all the time. I don't think she's like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm on her side, but I'm just saying, like, with regards to like a colorful personality and figure within women's college basketball, I like that part about her. Yeah.
Well, that part, yeah, but I mean, she's just kind of classless.
Yeah, I mean, she throws a lot of,
she's kind of classless.
Gasoline on the fire. I mean, let's not, I'm not trying to defend her by any stretch of the imagination, but with regards to storylines and like what, yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly, how she feels about what she's doing. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
There's some intrigue there.
I think she's classless. Yeah, she talks a lot. If you're not on it, it's you're with me or against me. I mean, I kind of agree with some of her stances, but I think the whole what turned me off about Kim Mulkey was the Brittany Griner situation.
Yeah, that was a whole other thing. I mean, I was going to kind of delve into that a little bit, but yeah, no, she didn't handle that well at all.
I mean, come on, you don't even want to support your players? Like, I mean, wow. Like, so anybody, once they leave your university, they're you're either with me or against me.
And especially someone that did so much for that university.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She helped you out. She helped you. Like, she was a big part of you winning. Right? She was a big part of her winning those 4 years at Baylor. And you can't say any kind words about her. You can't lend your support to her. I mean, maybe you don't totally agree with her position. I get it, but you gotta be you gotta be a voice of support.
A big reason you make so much money. A big reason you're such a prominent figure in college basketball.
Yeah, that's kind of my issue. It starts there, and then just sensing it, she's kind of
trickles into her kind of getting into her own self a little bit too much, which she tends to do. That's
yeah. I mean, that's
remotely not true.
So do you like parody in hoop? I mean, do you like the parody? Kind of the same question I asked you about the three-peat that the Chiefs are working towards. Do you like a juggernaut, or do you like the parody of college hoops?
Of college hoops, I would rather kind of have a little bit more idea as to what teams are capable of. I feel like the teams within the tournament are going to be very much unpredictable. Less UConn. I mean, they're supposed to kind of be like that quote unquote juggernaut that you're referring to. Purdue has Edey, so you really should run through the tournament until you get to the Final Four. But it's a one-game elimination tournament, so anything can happen at any given time. I would prefer a little bit more top heavy where it's not quite so unpredictable. Like the top, 2 seeds in every region, you kind of expect them to kind of, cruise through to the Elite Eight, and we'll see what's up. But this year, I feel like anything is possible.
Well, it looks like Duke looks like they got another dude. You talk about Grayson Allen being kind of a chippy player.
Oh no, he chipped him. You saw it, right? He chipped him.
He was falling. He fell, and he was on his way up. I mean, I don't know if that was a classified as
but to be fair to that dude, he did not trip them in the way that Grayson Allen used to trip people.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, because he kind of did it. He had a legitimate excuse. Like, he fell. He was getting up. He just extended his leg a little further than he probably needed to, right? But
okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, do you remember the first time Grayson Allen lightweight tried to trip somebody in the pros?
I don't, man. I don't. I don't.
It was hilarious. That dude turned around and started chasing him down, and Grayson Allen was on his backside, like sliding back, like Please don't kill me. Like,
No,
this
I
is
remember.
not Cameron Indoor. You're about to get slaughtered here. You trying
No,
to?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. I thought Grayson had knew that wasn't going to fly in the NBA.
Oh.
Are you telling me? Was this in summer league? Was this the first week?
No. This was in a game. It was. I mean, it wasn't like in Cameron where he just like stuck his leg out and just tripped somebody. But it was kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like lightweight, like halfway, kind of trying to trip. And that dude.
Yeah, I mean, because they were looking for that. The guys are looking for that in the NBA.
Right.
Like that's
he
like you better not do this. You better not do this around here. This is not gonna fly.
He kind of couldn't help himself and kind of did it one time. Oh man.
And no, what he mess around and find out, huh?
He was about to find out, and he was sliding on his backside like, man, please don't break my jaw apart.
Boots, Griner didn't have anything to do with her success. Is that what you're trying to claim? In Baylor?
You know, Britt was a huge part of what she was doing down there.
Come on, she was there 4 years, dog. The reason they went to the White House. Come on now. So yeah, we got the tournament coming up. They're playing some conference championships these games. So I'm gonna try to tune into some conference championships. I watched a little bit earlier today. I'm gonna try to tune into some conference championships. So we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up next week of how this weekend goes because conference. Well, I actually be in New Orleans, going to go watch a clip show in New Orleans and see what's happening. See if I can see.
Kylie got you some front row ticks.
I gotta go. Well, I gotta go see. I gotta go get an update and see what's going on.
You about to go? Get some.
Yeah, she helped. Right? Yeah, she helped jambalaya. No, beignets.
Beignets
overrated. Beignets is overrated. I don't know if I mentioned that.
And Cafe Du Monde. Thank you. Beignets. Try to get some beignets with T-Lou.
Oh my!
Powdered sugar on it.
You had some, right? You had some of those, right?
I like them. You don't like them.
They're overrated.
Nah, get overrated. Hot, man. They're not overrated, man.
It was overrated. I'm thinking it's some delicacy.
You didn't get it. It's
I got it fresh from Cafe Du Monde.
It's like getting the Krispy Kreme,
No, absolutely not. No comparison to Krispy Kreme. I got no comparison. Krispy Kreme, you driving down the street, you see Krispy Kreme, you see that light on, you guys better stop.
Cafe Du Monde.
That's not Cafe Du Monde. You better cut it out.
Oh boy.
With Cafe Du Monde is probably 100 years ago. I went to went there. We went to the Cafe Du Monde, outside the outdoor thing. I mean, I'm thinking this is some kind of restaurant. This is a outdoor little coffee shop. All right. I'm wondering what is all this powder on the table for? I wonder I've never been there before. What is all this powder on the table? It's a damn powdered sugar that they pour out. Man, overrated, man. Overrated. It was overrated.
Amazing.
So no, I'm looking forward to a good.
But that's what your Sunday is going to consist of.
Well, they play Friday night, so I'm heading down Friday night.
So you're going to have the whole experience then.
I'm sorry.
So you're going to have the whole experience the whole weekend then. Hurricanes and whatnot, and
Well, I went to Pat O'Brien's. Pat O'Brien's. I don't know if you know, but that Hurricanes travel, man. I was getting hurricanes up when I was in Seattle. So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to a chill weekend down in Nolens, as they call it down there. But yeah, I got to check out and see see how these guys rebound. They have a game tonight or tomorrow night, so it's going to be the second night of a back-to-back. But I got to see the Pelicans. They're competing with the Pelicans. The Pelicans is a game behind, if I'm not mistaken. So this should be a serious matchup. Like one that they should be playing. You know what I mean? Because it's let me see. Let me make sure. The standings. I think the Pelicans is right behind them in the rankings. So yeah, New Orleans is 5, Clippers is 4. They're 3 games. New Orleans is 3 games away. Well, Clippers have a 2.5 game lead over them for that 4th seed. So yeah, this is a playoff environment. It should be
meaningful. Okay.
Meaningful. Yeah, this is a meaningful game. Gotta go check it out. Cleveland, did you do your homework?
I did.
Anthony Joshua versus Vitaly Klitschko. I thought it was like 2013 or 14. It was 2017. Was I hyping it up too much? Was it a good fight? Tell us your thoughts.
It was both, Cam. You were hyping up a little bit too much, but it was a good fight.
It can't be both. How can I be hyping it too much, but it be both?
Because you said it was one of the 5 greatest fights you've ever seen in your life. You haven't seen too many heavyweight fights that went like that one.
How many heavyweight fights where each guy had a knockdown, and each guy had the other guy legitimately in trouble. There was 2 knockdowns, and Anthony Joshua came back and won that fight and beat him into. I thought it was I actually rewatched it. I thought it was going to the judges, but Anthony Joshua finished him off. I will say Vitaly was 41 versus what was Joshua's. It was probably a 20-year difference right there. So Joshua had to be 21, 22 because he's only 26 now, 27. So.
Fans, it is legitimate B. It is a legitimate good fight. One of the top 5 fights you've ever seen. If you're a boxing fan, it will not be that. But heavyweights going at it, knock down, and then knock down from the opponent, and then a knockdown, and then a knockout. So it's impressive. And it was a lot of intestinal fortitude being shown by Joshua. And Klitschko, heart of a champion. So it is a good fight. It's well worth your watching. It will not, if you're a boxing fan, it will not be one of the 5 greatest fights you've ever seen, but it is a good fight.
So watching that, I'm glad you watched the fan. I'm glad. I'll give Cleveland a round of applause for doing this homework. I'm glad you watched the fight. Now that you watched the fight, and now that you've seen what Joshua's capable of, have you been disappointed at what Joshua's been in his career?
Well, you got to be disappointed. I mean, if you see what his full potential is and what his ceiling could be, yeah. Every time he doesn't come out and dominate, you're like, okay, well, why aren't you dominating? Or you have losses to inferior opponents. I mean, yeah.
So you laughed at me when I talk about him losing to Andy Ruiz. You saw?
Yeah, I mean that's clear. That's clearly something that should never ever happen. Given your skill set and what you're capable of, yeah. You just can't lose to guys like that because it sets you back years and years, right? Because now you have to go through you have to fight this guy to prove it, and then okay, so you beat that guy, but the guy that you're supposed to fight next, he loses to that guy, so you got to wait that circle, that cycle out. It's yeah, man. You need to get here when it's time to get here. You know what I'm saying? And losses like that are inexcusable. To be perfectly honest with you.
So do you give him any credit for going in there and dispatching of Francis Ngannou in 2 rounds like he did? Oh, on what was it, Friday night? It was Friday night, I think.
Last Friday, yeah, no. Mm-mm. You don't get any credit for beating up UFC fighters. They don't know how to fight. You already go into it knowing they don't know how to box. So, I mean, when he went in against Tyson Fury and got, was able to kind of get some hands, that's okay. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, Fury,
but it's not like Fury is going to move around and have, make things different. It's just a big dude in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, Fury was overlooking him. Joshua went in there. I just said Joshua. That's why I tweeted out. Joshua did exactly what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like get rid of him in 2 rounds. Did he look impressive? Did he look like he was a killer? I mean, he did what he's supposed to do. Get rid of the guy in 2 rounds. That's it. So kudos to him for doing what he needed to do on Friday night. I'm super happy that you got a chance to watch the fight though.
I did, and again, it was a good fight.
I mean, I don't like how you try to say I had too much on it because it was it's what I told you it was. You know, you want to see a guy.
It's not one of the 5 greatest fights I've ever seen. That it's not.
You're gonna have to tell me 5 better fights. You're gonna have to tell me 5 better fights. What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's up? Certainly.
Shout out to the guys from HMB Media. I mean, can you? I mean, who you gonna give me? Paul Williams? Who you gonna give me? Who you gonna give me as the greatest fights? Greatest? Who you gonna give me?
I mean, how far back are we going with this?
Just go wherever you want to go with this. I told you it wasn't Hearns and Hagler. I told you that. I told you it wasn't. I said I thought it wasn't one of the greatest fights ever, but it had to be in that 5 or 6 category.
Okay, well, for example, just for fight fans, just throw this one out there. I didn't think it was as good as Mayweather Ricky Hatton. I didn't think it was that good.
All right, we're gonna move on because you're gonna bring up Mayweather Ricky Hatton. That went the distance, didn't it? Or did he knock him out?
He knocked him out
in the 9th round.
You gotta stop it. Yeah.
We're gonna move on, Cleveland. It's we have Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu on the same card. Rolly Romero, Pitbull Cruz. They actually have a press conference tomorrow, guys. So check out on Twitter. I have some feedback from the press conference.
Quick question on that Thurman fight. Does he still bring his wife into the dressing room, kissing on her before the fight?
I mean, he ain't fought in 2 years, so I don't know. Are they even on the on?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting fight because Tim Tszyu's coming to knock his block off. Keith Thurman hasn't fought in 2 years. He says ring rust won't be a problem. I asked him specifically, like, how do you combat ring rust? He's like, oh well, because you guys haven't seen me in the ring doesn't mean I'm not working. You know, I got prepared for fights that just haven't happened, so I've been preparing and been training. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, Keith, that isn't the same as getting in the ring and actually fighting. So we're just going to be interested to see what kind of shape he's in, how prepared he is for this fight. But Tim Tszyu is coming the first time fighting in America. He's coming to knock his block off, make a name for himself. So I'll give you my predictions when we get closer to the fight. But we also have Rolly Romero and Pitbull Cruz. Both of these guys got beat up by Tank Davis. Pitbull twice, actually.
So not much of a fight then, is what you're saying. Okay.
Well, no, because they lose to Tank Davis. I mean, that's not. What does that mean? That doesn't. You don't, because you lose to one of the best fighters of the time, of the generation. That doesn't make you not a good fighter. However, so this is they're fighting for their chance to kind of get back. You know, as you mentioned, when you in the boxing world, you lose a fight, you have to kind of take some fights to rebuild your credibility, right? So both of these guys are kind of rebuilding in a position to rebuild their credibility. Rolly loses fight, his close to over. Pitbull, because he offers a little bit more, he's been more competitive in his fights. I think he has a chance, and he's a entertaining fighter, meaning he swings for the fences. He's going for the knockout. That type of fighter will last a little bit longer because not only is he going to come at you, he's going to make it a fight. Rolly's going to try to be more strategic with this game plan, so he can possibly get caught because Pitbull is going to keep throwing him. If Rolly gets caught and doesn't win this fight, his career might be derailing quickly. So this is going to be March 30th. We still have Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia slated for April 20th in Brooklyn. So we still have that fight on. And it's just announced that this week that Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting Munguia on May 4th. That's his typical May Mexican Independence Day that they fight that weekend. So that's still happening. Let me give you some.
And you've heard of this other dude that you just named, right? Because
who?
no one else watching the show has ever heard of that person.
Munguia, yes, Munguia is a well-known
Why don't you
fighter.
tell us a little bit about him, Cam? Because no one else has ever heard of that person before.
Many people have heard of Munguia.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
He's another Mexican fighter. He's a banger. That Canelo's going to be going up with. Jaime Munguia. You've heard of Jaime Munguia. Again, he's a banger. He comes in there. He's bigger than Pitbull Cruz, who's going to try to bring the fight to you. However, he's going to walk right into Canelo Alvarez's. He's kind of tailor made for Canelo Alvarez. He wants to come at you, and Canelo's going to be able to pot shot him and pot shot him most of the fight. So that's the difference. But Jaime Munguia is a former world champion. Canelo's belt is going to be on the line, so it's going to be a great fight.
So handpicked.
It's not going to be a great fight, but
handpicked, like
pretty
Mickey
much
and Rocky 3 said. Handpicked.
Pretty much handpicked. However, it'll be a good fight. He's going to bring the fight. He's going to bring a fight to Canelo, but he's going to keep coming at Canelo, regardless of however Canelo hits him. He's going to keep coming at him. Canelo's last fight with or was it his last fight? John Ritter, who didn't really want to engage with Canelo, made Canelo chase him. Is not going to be that type of fight. It's going to be a fight where the guy is going to keep coming at Canelo. Canelo's going to have to watch out for some blows, but he's going to be able to counterpunch.
So Cam, as a so-called fight fan that you claim to be, do you take exception to the fact that Canelo did not want to avenge his loss right away?
With
his last loss?
Dimitri Bivol?
Yeah.
Okay. Canelo went up 2 rounds, or 2 weight divisions to fight Dimitri Bivol. And what fighters are saying is that he was daring to be great. Okay, fair enough, sure, but he got his ass whooped. And it was the type of fight. It was okay, like stay in your lane. It was that type of fight where stay in your lane, know your audience, and don't step out of the line, because he was outmatched. He was fighting a bigger fighter. He was fighting a fighter that was just bigger, more powerful than him. And so, I am more salty with Canelo like not fighting David Benavidez. Like, that's the guy he should be fighting, but he's trying to fight everybody but him. He fought the Charlo. Rumors were he's going to fight the older Charlo brother this weekend, or with this fight here.
The one that's actually in his weight class division.
Yeah, but he's not fighting him. He's fighting Jaime Munguia. The argument he should be. I'm more salty with Canelo not fighting David Benavidez than going back and fighting Dimitri Bivol. I understand why he's not fighting Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol is bigger, stronger. He's a better boxer. Clearly, he dominated Canelo. So I don't think that would be any different if they fought again. But David Benavidez is kind of who we should see Canelo fighting, and he refusing to fight that fight. Now, a lot of people.
So does Canelo have a signature victory?
What do you mean? Does Canelo have a? Yeah, he fought Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, fought him. Yeah, Canelo's. And so this is what you cut me off before I can get to it. Canelo is widely recognized as 1, 2, 3, at least the top 3 fighter in the world. Like, except he's at the position now that Floyd Mayweather was, that he can pick his opponents. He can pick who he wants to fight, and you really can't say anything about it because he's fought many. He's taken on many challenges. Right now, today, we want to see him fight David Benavidez, but he fought Triple G. And when Triple G was at his prime,
and he didn't win all those. Did he lose to Triple G once?
No, he didn't lose to him. I mean, it was close. It was the argument.
Oh yeah, pencil whipped. Okay.
There was everybody.
There might have been
some favoritism. There might have been some favoritism in Las Vegas, but he fought and dominated his fight. He's Canelo again. Canelo is a top 3 fighter in the world.
Canelo's a name. Canelo's a name. It's a name.
Again, Canelo's a top 3 fighter in the world.
He brings
anybody who knows boxing. Who you got here? Taylor Chavez.
Say that, Boots. And he brought in the Hawk against Alexis Arguello. You know nothing about that, do you, Cam? Huh? Give me the bottle, the one I mixed. You know nothing about that, do you? We're taking it back.
He went back. He went back on that one. He went back. Boots went back on that one, buddy.
Boots went back to the bottle, the one I mixed. Ooh.
No argument. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue with you, Boots.
Bottom is great.
But you didn't see. You didn't watch Klitschko versus Joshua, Boots. I don't know what to think about that one. I know you gave me the excuse. Oh, I stopped watching it. Stopped watching boxing last week. Took some time off. Okay, that's fair enough. We gave you a homework assignment, and you didn't. Did you complete the homework assignment, Boots? That was part of the homework this week. Did you do the homework, Boots? Do the homework and let's talk. Let's talk.
Because right now
it was good. Good.
That's what I said.
Good. Not great, huh? Okay.
Boots. This is exactly what I said. I gave him a B. It's a B.
Oh my.
It's a B.
Oh my.
It's good, not great.
What was it? Tell me what that. It was good. What was it lacking?
It had its ebbs and flows, right? I mean, like the one round where they both got knocked down. Okay, that's cool. But then it was like 5 rounds that kind of like, it's cool. And then was it 10th or 11th? Joshua knocked him down and then knocked him out. It just wasn't a lot of back and forth. And again, they both kind of seemed to kind of like take their time. Like it wasn't like just continual, just this frenetic pace of a fight.
Okay, so you need more of a pace, huh?
Well, I mean, we're talking about like, top 5 greatest fights you've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, I personally think that De La Hoya
Trinidad,
Shane Mosley part 1 was a better fight.
Neither one of those fighters has star power. Vitaly Klitschko was the champion for 10 years. He was a 10-year heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he was 41 when he was fighting.
He was at 10. He was been a champion for the last 10 years. Like I'm not sure what more you want.
It's kind of like watching a 50-year-old Drago. It's like it's all right.
Oh my goodness gracious! He was the champion for 10 years. Like nobody could defeat him.
But that was like 10 years ago. Like
again,
it was a good fight.
He was 41.
It was a good fight.
He was 41. That took some weight. That took some steam out. When I was sat down and watched it, I was like, oh, he was 41. Okay, so that took a little bit out of it.
Just like when Mike gets in there and has to fold up the walker because he's 57.
Hold on, let's look at this. I did totally disagree. Totally disagree. Totally disagree. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, that's different than being an NBA champion, an NBA MVP.
That's different.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
And it was him and his brother, and it's like all comers.
I mean,
Vladimir got one side, Vitaly got the other side. All comers. That's real. I was surprised that Lennox was never enticed to fight those dudes, though.
That was kind of why he would have had to come back. Lennox was gone. Lennox was done.
Yeah, but I mean, you're
So
talking like
Lennox would have had to
Monte
come back.
Cristo type money to come back.
I'm sorry.
I said we're talking about like Count of Monte Cristo type money to come back and fight one of those dudes, man.
Yeah, but he was already retired.
But so what?
He was already retired.
Every fighter is always
But
already retired.
That's one thing Lennox said. Lennox said he wasn't coming back to fight. Had what's your name dominated like that, I think he probably would have came back to fight Joshua if Joshua had dominated like that. But I don't know what you're talking about. The heavyweight champion of the world. Like if you're into boxing at all, you know the heavyweight champion of the world. Okay, of the world, Vitaly Klitschko. Like that is a thing. Cleavon, to your point, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, he beat Caleb Plant. Okay, I'm gonna just name some. Sergey Kovalev. Okay, Sergey Kovalev was in a fight with your boy Andre Ward, who he lost to that fight too. I'm just naming names that you might know. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So what? Amir Khan, you heard of Amir Khan? He beat Miguel Cotto. Like James Kirkland. Remember James the Crusher Kirkland was trained by the woman. Like he ended his career essentially. Do you remember that? He essentially ended James Kirkland's career. You don't remember James Kirkland? I guess no. Who he was trained by the woman? Who was the woman? No, I'm not. That's your point. No one cares. No one cares about him. Who was the woman who trained James Kirkland boots? Do you remember that? James Kirkland was trained by the woman who like you really wouldn't want to fuck with this woman. I can't remember her name, but that was her prodigy until Canelo just ended his career essentially. Yeah, Austin Trout, you're not gonna know. Josecito Lopez. Canelo defeated Shane Mosley. He gets no credit. He gets no credit though from me. And then it's some guys you wouldn't recognize. But Miguel Cotto, you recognize Miguel Cotto, don't you? James Kirkland,
I go so far back into the mental Rolodex. And even when I pull Miguel Cotto out, it's like, yeah, that's a name I remember, but nothing with like.
I mean, Sergey Kovalev at the time was thought to be some actual competition for him. He washed him. Gennady Golovkin 3 times he washed him. Those are kind of the fights that there was some competition.
So Triple G is really the only person that you can really name that anyone else has ever heard of.
No, Cleveland that you've heard of. Again, in boxing, Daniel Jacobs in the boxing world is people know who Daniel Jacobs is. Okay, people know in the boxing world. People knew who Amir Khan was. People know who Caleb Smith was. You don't know Caleb Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. Caleb Plant was a good fighter until he got into the ring with Canelo.
Amir Khan, man.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to throw at me? See how you try. You see how you try and like do your little thing where you just try and like confuse me with the names, but like no, the names are confusing because you want to know why? Because they just don't ring a bell.
Again,
they're not big names, bro.
You're not following boxing.
It doesn't have to be because I'm not following boxing. I do follow boxing. Those just aren't.
No, you don't. Clearly, you do not. Clearly, you do not. If you're talking about Miguel Cotto, you have to dig so far back. Clearly, you don't follow boxing. Meanwhile, the Sacramento Kings are up 107-94 with under 6 minutes to go. Looks like Sabonis is going to have his 10th game over the Los Angeles Lakers. So yeah, no. No. Again, some people do, some people don't. But I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I'm gonna tell you this, Boots. The first boxing match I covered, I was been a boxing fan. I mean, obviously, I go back to the days of Sugar Ray and Hagler Hearns, etc. The first boxing match that I covered was Fury versus Wilder, the first one, Staples Center, LA. What it had to be 2018 or 19. That was the first one. I didn't realize. I knew it was a heavyweight fight. So what you're saying, heavyweight boxing isn't what it was then, or isn't now what it was then? Okay, you're saying no one cares. I disagree with that. Again, bro, I wasn't quite sure. To your point, Boots, I wasn't quite sure how big a fight that Fury Wilder was, the first one. Leading up to the fight, there was a lot of events going around it at Staples Center. Press conference was outside. I'm like, I thought that was kind of weird. There was a lot of, the press conference. Fury's a big talker. Wilder at that time is bomb squad. He got he's 1,900 people with his entourage is 19 people deep. But bro, you get into the arena and
it's electric, man. There's
the first fight is over. The first fight is over. Now you're leading up, and the ring walk with these heavyweights is coming out, and now you got Michael Buffer on the mic talking about, "Are you ready to rumble, bro?" Your hair stands up. Your hair on your back of your neck stands up. It's wild. Like that, having been to the NBA Finals, having been to the NFL game, having covered an NBA All-Star game, having covered Major League Baseball All-Star game. And I used to love, out of all the All-Star games, I used to love the Major League Baseball, the announcing of the All-Stars. Like, I thought that was the most seminal moment of all the All-Star games. Because back in the day, obviously, it was now that they have the interleague games. Back in the day, like the American League didn't see the National League, right? And National League didn't see American League. That was the only time you saw these guys compete. So it was more important back in the day. However, it's still a quality moment in sports. But when they announced the ring walk of these heavyweights coming out of the ring, bro, man, it's nothing like it, man. No, you're not even heavyweights, just a big time fight. Just a big time fight. There's nothing like
there's
nothing like it. And that one
the
went
electricity and the energy in the room, but Miguel Cotto and Canelo is not the same as like
Miguel Cotto's a warrior, bro. Miguel Cotto, what ended Miguel's Cotto?
Just knockoffs, man. They're just knockoffs.
So again, Cleveland, you're not being fair. What ended Miguel Cotto's career is when I can picture the dude's face. I can't picture the dude's. I don't remember his name. I can picture his face. When the dude wore the cast, he had the plaster in his glove, and he beat Miguel Cotto was one of those fighters who just doesn't quit. He's gonna keep coming at you, and he doesn't quit. But damn it, Adrian Margarito.
Yeah.
When he had the cast, he cheated, and he beat Miguel Cotto to a pulp, and that just doesn't happen with Miguel Cotto because he was tough like that. And he doesn't stop. Miguel doesn't stop, but he had to take a knee in that fight. Him taking that kind of beating kind of ended Miguel Cotto's career. It took a lot of steam out of his career. He ended up fighting Canelo after that, but he wasn't the Miguel Cotto. Again, probably if Canelo saw him 3 or 4 fights prior, and we might have a different story. But Margarito, when he kind of had the plaster in his glove, and he was fine for cheating. That was
so. Here's what me and Boots are saying here. Okay, we're gonna watch Canelo fight 5 more fights. It will never be against Benavidez, and it will be a bunch of hand-picked people.
Yeah. Again, now
winning, up through 2027, and you'll keep telling me what a great fighter Canelo is, and be like, but who's he actually beating?
I just named you some fighters that he's beat.
But that was long time ago, man.
What do you mean? You can say the same for Mayweather.
It was still somewhat.
Canelo is at a point of his career where he can legitimately pick his fights. He can legitimately pick who he wants to fight.
He handpicks him so that he's sure that
we want to see him fight Benavidez. Yes, we want to see him fight Benavidez. But Canelo's at a point in his career similar to where Mayweather was, where he can pick his fighters. Mayweather picked Canelo when he was 22 years old. Canelo wasn't ready for that primetime moment, but that Mayweather said, "Let me get him now before he gets ready for that moment," and he washed him. Same point Mayweather was in his career, where he's washing cats. But who did Mayweather fight in his last 10 fights? That had a potential of beating him. He didn't fight anybody who had a potential of beating him. He was picking his fight. There
was plenty of fighters that had a potential of beating him. They just couldn't beat it.
No, it's exactly what I'm telling you. He was handpicking his fights. What do you mean? You're shaking your head. No, he's doing Canelo's following that same blueprint. He following the same exact blueprint.
Because there wasn't anyone out there that Mayweather. There wasn't anyone out there that Mayweather didn't want to fight.
Cleveland.
There wasn't any fighter that Mayweather didn't want to fight.
Cleveland, you're not listening to your own self. I'm telling you, he following the same blueprint, except Canelo actually took the challenge to go fight Dimitri Bivol. He got his ass whooped because he can't fight, he can't contend with them, but he took that challenge on. Mayweather wasn't taking that challenge on. He wasn't fighting anybody that he knew he couldn't beat. But you want to say Canelo's not fighting anybody. The same as Mayweather handpicked the last fights of his career, Canelo's doing the same exact thing again. But he fought anybody who was in contention, he fought him prior to. Anybody who was in contention. He won't fight David Benavidez. Now, I have a problem with that. I do have a problem with that. He's avoiding Benavidez. Yes, he is. I can't argue that. He's been avoiding him for the last 3 or 4 years. Absolutely. You're right. But that's the only like smudge he has on his career. That's the only smudge that he has on his career. Canelo's been the man for all this time. But yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options that right now. In MMA, I mean, there's just so many MMA fighters. I can't.
Yeah, and they fight for the title all the time. It's like
I just can't keep up. There's so many of them. Like every week, there's a super MMA fight. Every week, there's a new champion. Like I just can't keep up with the NBA. I appreciate
the action packed though. Huh? Action packed.
Yeah, I appreciate the competition. All of those guys, you don't want to mess with any of them. In not one of them, those MMA guys, do you want to mess with? Not one of them. Anybody who trains MMA, you got to give them credit. But there's just so many of them. I just can't keep up. I can't keep up. So yeah, Wilder Fury has some juice. I mean, what it used to be now, Boots? Come on now, you can't make that argument. It ain't.
That's what we say. We're trying to find something that kind of recreates that same type of,
That was the closest. I can't think of a recent fight that Wilder Fury 2 or 3 created that same steam. The fight the fight didn't live up to the hype, but there hasn't been much. I mean, again, come on, guys, life has changed. I mean, what are we finding? What do we find that competes with the bad boys?
Well, I mean, for example, I think the closest that had the anticipation was Spence Crawford, but it was 3 years late. And it was very lopsided because there wasn't really a very good.
I don't know if that time, if the time had something to do with the way the outcome of the fight though. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the time.
And then when it came time for Spence to do it again, it's like, nah, my eye hurts. We got to do this next year.
No, that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue. I mean, there's a lot of
political. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Did you want to see that fight again?
Yeah.
No, Cleveland, you did. No, there wasn't. Where you say there's not a lot of boxing fans out here. Not many boxing fans wanted to see a rematch of that one. It wasn't close. That fight wasn't. It didn't go to the decision. It was such a wash. It was such a domination from round 2 to the 9th round when it ended that it really didn't warrant a rematch. There's some fights that just didn't warrant a rematch. So that held it up. Then it was who's going to pay for the fight. Then it was okay, he had the eye issue. Now Crawford, we haven't seen Crawford. We haven't seen Crawford back in the ring, have we?
It's that fight.
Yeah. So I mean, again, Crawford and Canelo could fight, but then that means Crawford has to go up. Crawford has to move up. Canelo don't want Crawford right now. Canelo don't want none of that.
Again, with what Canelo doesn't want.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. When you say nobody wants boxing,
no, we want boxing. It's just we don't want the boxing that we're getting. We don't want the boxing that we're getting. You got me. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're getting like, Canelo can only fight certain fighters because he's trying to follow the Mayweather blueprint. So he's not going to fight this guy, and he's not going to fight this guy. And
we want to see Tank. I think Tank versus Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson. I prefer to see Devin versus Shakur, Tank versus Shakur. I don't think. Not sure. Tank's problem is that number one, he's been inactive. If you want to consider Tank the best fighter out there,
you keep talking about this inactivity with everybody. Why is everybody inactive all the time? Because all the fights have to be handpicked. They have to be sanctioned by like 5 different people. It has to be the same camp. I mean, it's just all of these other things that go into it.
Mongolian. That plays into it.
1 versus 2. You know what I'm saying? It's never.
And that's so okay. So do you want to see a Dana White come and take over boxing to where now you're getting 1 versus 2 every other week, or the weight classes? I would like to see structure to boxing. That would be nice to see some structure to boxing. However, that means the boxers are going to have to.
From a fight fan's perspective, I get tired of hearing, "Oh, that's an Aaron boxer. Oh, that's a Mayweather boxer. Or that's a Aaron boxer." It's like, so what? They can't fight because of that. They can't get in the ring because they don't. Promoters don't like each other.
Obviously, it's not like the NBA or the NFL where they're on schedule to fight each other. But now because
collision course to fight each other, that like when they get to a certain point, they have to go against one another, right?
Because Bob Arum does his promotion for his fight, Eddie Hearn does his promotion for the fight with the Zone. Your boy Golden Boy does his fight promotions with Golden Boy, obviously, and then PBC does Heyman. Like they all are vying for that A-B slot. So it's either who gets the A side, who's the A side, who's the B side. Nobody wants to be the B side. So, and that's how the Spence Crawford, that's how the Spence Crawford first fight happened, where Spence and Crawford got on the phone and said, okay, let's make this happen. It's been too long. Now let's make this happen. So the A and B side, then because they both wanted to fight, it wasn't a factor in it. But that's why it was Shakur. We don't see Shakur fighting that often. That's because why we haven't seen Shakur fight Tank Davis is because Shakur was with Top Rank with Bob Arum, and are they gonna capitulate to what PBC how they want to fight, the rules that they want to fight by?
Okay, so basically the promoters dictate when the fighters are fighting each other.
A lot less, Boots. I mean,
there's not enough fighters, Boots. It's not that it's not entertaining. It's just there's not enough of them that are good enough. To be perfectly honest, from my perspective.
what you talking about? Women's boxing.
Yeah.
Like there's Clarissa Shields, Alicia Baumgartner. Like that's a fight they're on a collision course. Like they're gonna fight within the next year or two. Probably
I
within.
think from a women's perspective, probably the UFC stuff was a little bit more entertaining than the women's boxing. But you hear what you're saying though, right? There's these 4 promoters that have their own interests at heart.
Yeah, certainly.
And what the fighters are wanting to do and what the fans want to see is not really that much of a focal point in their decision making. It is really more about like how long they can prolong this to create this anticipation.
They're not fighting. They're not fighting. Yes, they're not fighting to entertain the fans. They're fighting for their boxers to make as much money.
You're missing the point. Is that they won't let the fighters fight because of their own personal vested interests, not because of what the fighters want to do, and not because of what the fans want to see, because of what their own monetary gain can be from the fight.
Cleveland.
And other sports can't do that. Once you get to a certain point, they have to compete.
Cleveland. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, would you rather play Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, or would you rather play Baltimore Ravens? Would you rather play the Baltimore Ravens every week? You were going to take the easiest schedule.
If the NFL owners had their way, no one would ever play the Chiefs.
Again, obviously, it's a different sport, Cleveland. But that's when you say in different sports, you can't compare the different sports because they're different sports. In boxing, you want your fighter to win as long as he can, to be on top of as long as he can. So obviously, you're going to do things so your boxer can stay the championship and stay champion as long as.
Did you just hear yourself right there? You
want
to not fight somebody good for as long as you can, to look as good as you can for as long as you can.
When has this not been the case, Cleveland? When has this not been the case?
Not been the case. Several times.
Sugar Ray fought Donnie Lalonde, and Sugar Ray fought Donnie Lalonde, and his promoters were telling him, "Don't fight this dude."
Nope.
What do you mean? They told him, "Don't fight the dude."
Right.
Sugar Ray, you shouldn't fight this dude. Sugar Ray said, "No, I want to go fight him."
I'm not going to take it way back in the day, Cam. I'm simply saying this, man. When what the promoters want to happen dictates what happens and how much money that they can make from a fight, it dictates what kind of fights you see. And that's why we haven't seen really good fights lately.
And I don't know why you're surprised by this. I don't know.
I'm not. Boxing has been corrupt for a long, long time. It's just before it's been like, okay, eventually we're going to get to a fight that the fans want to see, but that's just not the way it works anymore.
What was the last great boxing fight?
I said Spence Crawford, and you shot me down.
It didn't live up. That was the last great hyped fight.
Okay,
That's what everybody was anticipating.
What was the last big
fight? That's the fight that we were looking for. Yes, absolutely. That's the fight everybody was anticipating for 4 years, and it didn't happen to be. Once the night was over.
And before that, it was Pacquiao Mayweather.
What was Pacquiao? 2015. I thought what you call it was better than Pacquiao Mayweather. That just went the distance. Pacquiao Mayweather. That was in fact, that didn't even live up to the hype. Now that I remember it, that Pacquiao Mayweather didn't live up to the hype.
Between Pacquiao Mayweather and Spence Crawford, what fight was eagerly anticipated?
Klitschko versus what you call it? Klitschko versus your boy Joshua.
No, it was not.
Because they were fighting in England. Because they were fighting in England, they weren't American boxers.
And Joshua was not a big name at the time. He was not. He wasn't.
Did you ask me what was the last big name fight or was the best fight? Because he has a name.
The last big name fight.
Oh my goodness!
That everybody wanted to see. Joshua and Klitschko would exceeded expectations.
Fury Wilder. I mean, again, Fury
Yeah.
Wilder. I
Probably
wasn't
so.
sure, Boots. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure the magnitude of that fight. The whole everything leading up to the fight. Oh, Crawford Porter was a great fight. Come to think about it, now Crawford Porter. Spence Porter. You guys forgot about that fight, but you guys don't want to. Now the two black fighters, are you guys gonna say that was a crap fight? Earl Spence.
Those were good fights.
Those
but
are
not
that's
eagerly anticipated.
Again, not by you guys, not by you two numbskulls. Okay, so now not by you two numbskulls.
Yeah, I'm not a cut man. I don't tape up, gloves, man. I'm not that into it, man. I'm not that.
Well, say I'm a casual boxing fan. Just say, finally admit you're a casual boxing fan.
No.
Finally admit it.
No,
finally admit you're a
because
casual,
I'm not a casual boxing fan, but I'm not such a boxing fan that I know what type of tape the trainers are using. I'm not that into it.
Boots, if you say Ward Golovkin, Ward Golov was a good fight, why wouldn't you say what's your reasoning for Canelo versus Golovkin not being a good fight?
Because Kovalev and Ward was, I don't know, man.
What's your Boots? What was your reason for Kovalev and Canelo not being a good fight? If you like Ward Kovalev, what's your reasoning for Canelo and Kovalev not being a good fight?
Because it was way later.
That wasn't way later. That was a couple years after that one. Kovalev was still alive, obviously. Now you guys are going to tell. Now you guys are going to
alive. Cameron was still alive.
He was still fighting. He was still legit fighting. He's still a legit fighter. So now I think I narrowed it down with Boots' answer right there. I think it's narrowed it down. You guys just want to see black fighters. That's what we're coming down to.
It's not black fighters.
That's what we're coming down to. You guys just want to see black fighters. And if there's not black fighters fighting, it's not a good fight.
Reputation.
That's what it is.
And there's some anticipation, and there's just not. It does not exist right now.
Excuse me. That's what it is. If it's not black fighters involved, it's not a good fight. That's what your answer. That's what I'm gathering right there. If you want to say Ward Kovalev was a good fight, but you don't want to give Canelo credit for beating Kovalev, it's because he's not black. It's not Canelo's not black because now you're going to say Joshua's not American. Klitschko's not American, so that can't be a big fight. That's what it's
the Klitschko Joshua thing was.
That's what it comes down to. Because they're not American. There's not American. That Boots, you can't tell me anything else, Boots. Thank you for pointing that out.
You can't name a fight that you want to see, man. For real, man. You cannot name a fight that you want to see. You keep talking about Tank against
What do you mean I can't name a fight? I was mentioning earlier, David Benavidez versus Canelo. We're not going to see it, but that fight should happen. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney. I mean, we'll see that. That's more likely to happen. But where's Tank been at? Tank is having a problem.
Yeah, those aren't big fights.
All right, fam. We're gonna end the show. We're gonna end the show. We're gonna end the show on that.
Might as well get to the quote.
We're gonna end the show on that comment. Fans, I love you guys. Before we end the show, Cleveland, tell us what's up with the Seattle Mariners. What are they doing? Have they made any move?
Cam, we're still waiting to see if they're going to sign Blake Snell, a local kid. Could certainly use the arm in the rotation. Rotations, it's pretty solid from 1 to 5, but you can always kind of, have to anticipate injuries. So that's kind of where we're looking at that. So far on the, spring training, they've been okay. Not great.
This guy asked, who is Devin Haney? Come on, man. He's only the second man to win.
Legitimate question.
Or he become undisputed in two weight classes.
Because most people don't know who that is.
Again, you can't
have to
follow.
have-
If
have
you
to
ask
have
that
the
question, you
boxing-
don't follow
you have to have the
boxing.
boxing network or the boxing app on your phone to even know who that is.
Only the second man behind Terrence Crawford to become undisputed in 2 weight classes. Like that. Come on, man. Come on, Boots. Come on, man. Cut it out.
Nobody knows who that is. Straight up.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite for the before the season start? Who's the favorite? We still got a couple weeks, right? April 1st is usually.
The Mariners' first game is on March the 28th. I'm actually going to the game on the 29th. So about 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Who's is the Dodgers a favorite? Are the Dodgers a favorite to win the World Series?
Yes.
That's for the National League. Who they going to play? Are they going to play the Yankees? Or they're not going to play the who are they going to play? Are they going to play the Yankees? Are the Yankees American League favorite with Aaron Judge and
they have Judge and Soto, but I think probably the American League favorite is probably still the Houston Astros.
Houston Astros. Where's Arizona? Arizona's.
They're in the National League. They're actually in the National League West, the same division with the Dodgers and the Padres and the Giants.
Well, the Padres and the Giants are competing for the National League West title. Right?
Well, they're both in the National League West. I think the Padres potentially could, be competing for a National League title. Same with the Atlanta Braves.
You think even losing Soto, they can still contend?
For sure.
Wow. Look at Boots. They won't be in the World Series, no pitching. I mean, if they count on Clayton, of course, they're not going to make it there.
They have Ryu. They have a little bit of pitching, but not a lot of depth at the pitching position. But I think that they're just heads and tails above everybody else at all the rest of the positions. Although I'm not quite sure how Mookie Betts moving to shortstop is going to work out. That's kind of hard to do.
Didn't he play shortstop for the Red Sox?
That's years ago, though. He's done that a long time.
He hasn't stopped playing. You think he could lose it?
Yeah, no, it's way different coming into playing the infield as opposed to playing the outfield. That's not a normal transition.
But he came to the Dodgers.
Usually from the infield to the outfield. It's usually not the other way around.
But he came to the Dodgers as an infielder, right?
But that was a long time ago, Cam. I mean, it would be like he's been with the Dodgers at least 3 years, if not 4 years. Is this his 4th year?
Okay, but I'm saying that's not that long ago. I mean, you're still fielding balls, aren't you?
It's a different kind of feeling of the ball.
Wasn't he playing third base? Yeah, come on. I mean, help me out. I don't know. I was going to ask you about that, but I'm saying
it's not the outfield, huh?
It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that much of a drop off.
Go
Come
from
on,
judging fly balls to right out the
bat. He left Boston. Wasn't he playing the shortstop in Boston? It's not like he never played the position before. Come on,
I didn't say he never played the position. I said he hasn't played it in a long, long time.
He only played outfield last year. Wasn't him playing in the outfield for the Dodgers? Wasn't that like a surprise?
We'll see how it works out for him.
Okay, all right. So you have Houston as a contender in the American League. Houston and who?
Houston and Texas. Texas did quite well. Texas won the World Series, reigning World Series champions. So Houston, Texas.
And will the Mariners make the playoffs this season?
I don't know.
Come on, why be? Where's this confidence? Where's the definitiveness?
I don't have the same confidence that I had in them last year. They have lost a lot of players in their, that were good clubhouse guys, great defensive players, gave them a little bit of pop in their bat. I have not been a huge fan of the free agency acquisitions that they've made. I'm not real supremely confident. I know that they have a great pitching staff, probably top 5 in the league, if not the best pitching staff in the league, and when healthy, and a potential MVP in Julio Rodriguez, but the rest of those guys, I mean, we'll have to see. Not overly optimistic.
I need to give you some more homework to do, Boots, because clearly, if you haven't heard of the second undisputed 2-time 2-division champion, I mean that's on you, Chief. That's on you, really, big dog. Fans, we want to give Cleveland a round of applause. Thank you guys for tuning in. However you're watching the show, wherever you're watching the show, we appreciate it. Boots, thank you for your feedback.
Love you, Boots.
Even though you got more homework to do this weekend, Boots, watch Devin Haney fight with Prograis. At least watch that fight. That was in December, if I'm not mistaken. Just go watch that fight. And then tune in to Mongia and tell us what you think of Mongolian beef, as you call them. But fans, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy the Voice of the Fan podcast. This has been week 233 of the episode. Barry, we appreciate you guys for tuning in as well. One thing we do not many shows do this for you guys. We play the numbers game at the beginning of the show. We give you this week in history, like no other show does, and then we end you guys in the show with the motivational quote. Cleveland. The quote we have this week is: "Many of life's failures are from people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up." One more time, Cleveland. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. That's Mr. Thomas Edison.
3 feet from gold.
Fans, don't give up on your dreams, man. Don't give up on your on what's happening. Chase after your dreams. I gave you guys a quote a couple weeks ago. That kind of off the same line. Playing it safe is the riskiest choice we can ever make. Fans, you gotta take a leap of faith. Make it happen. Once I get to tell this story, fans, you guys appreciate kind of where I'm coming from. Because I took a leap of faith. My reason for being out here in Birmingham is to follow my dream, to follow my passion. Cleveland, I'm one class away from having my master's in journalism, Chief.
Congratulations, my dude.
Next week is be the final class, so I got a presentation to prepare for that. But one class away, and this is not anything this was not on my radar 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I would have never thought I'd be coming to Birmingham, Alabama. 3 years ago, I never thought I'd be a class away from having a master's in journalism. So it's just trying to make some headway, and I appreciate your feedback, fans. Appreciate your being a part of the show, being a part of the journey. But we want to make this bigger, and I want to be an example for everybody just to chase after your dreams and make it happen. And it's about to happen. And so it's really cool to see the journey and the progression of this show, Cleveland. Because if you remember, we started recording our calls, right? We recorded our calls, upload them up to the internet, to now to be partnered with H&B Media, to have our own YouTube channel, to have our own show on YouTube. I mean, that's progression, fans. You guys should have that same progression in your life. So again, many of life's failures are from people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Don't give up, fans. Keep going after it. This is a quote to help motivate you guys throughout the rest of the week until we see you again on Sunday. And lastly is thank you, fans, for making our voice your choice.